Whoa! Hold on. Forgot to turn the music off over here. Hi, and welcome to Thursday with a Friend. That was my first mess up. Today, I have a very special guest. This guy, he just finished another stream, a very popular stream. He's one of two guys that said, you know what? There's 7 days in the week, and I should probably go on opposing this guy on both of his live days. But that's okay because there's only so many days. And I've always said that if you have a day that works for you, that's when you go live. And anyway, unless you guys don't need to look at me anymore, my special guest, Yojo Jerk. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me on, man.
You know
I
what?
appreciate it.
It's great. I kind of like the idea of I get to start a little bit later, but then it worries me that I end up going later.
Especially because you said you get up at the butt crack of dawn too.
I have my daughter, which I'm not supposed to, but her mom was on a business trip, so she just stayed here. My first job is only like 5 minutes from my house, but I still have to now wake up, get my daughter up, take her to school, come back. Where I could have slept in an hour, but whatever. I have the whole weekend to not sleep in because I won't.
Yeah, you just gotta power through that Friday. So yeah, I know how it is, man. Mondays always kill me. I get like 3 hours of sleep, and I have my busiest fucking day like right that morning.
Mondays are, and you're probably the same way since you guys go live at 8. There are some days that I'm just dreading Monday night. Because I got to work all day. I don't know. I can see my calls because I fix copy machines and stuff kind of gets thrown at me, so I get to see everything. But I've said before, man, 9 o'clock comes on for me, and that switch has hit, and I'm wide awake. And you see all these people that have shown up to talk to you. That you're like, you know what? Everyone's here to hang out, and that chat is like a bar, is what I say. It's a big bar, yet no one has to get drunk. They don't have to leave their house, which is wonderful.
Yes.
Who wants to leave their house at almost 50?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's true. I never leave this place if I don't have to, man. I love it here.
You know what? I'm one of those people. I say I want to, and then it's like, do I really want to go out and do anything? Got these toys I can review, and it's like, I've never hurt myself reviewing a toy like I have skateboarding. That's
yeah, I'm waiting for the day I cut one of my fingers. I'm always just because I just do that shit live, and I just.
Well, you know what? Go and review. Go do a classic review of one of those old McFarlane Todd toys with that plastic. Your hands will come up like you were just in a Saw movie, and
just skin everywhere. Yeah,
you'll look like that guy from UHF when he cut it. Oh, I cut myself.
Yeah,
this stuff is bleeding all over.
Oh my God, what is that guy's Remo Phillips or something? Yeah, that guy was a freaking lunatic comedian in the 80s.
So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. This is one of those harder things to do because, like I said earlier, you guys are on normally when I'm, starting my show for Thursdays. And I know I had even asked Zakanin before, and I know you guys are doing a show, and he's like, hey, sorry, we're kind of bouncing around. And so I fully understand because I'm one of those people like, if someone said, hey, I'd love to have you on Mondays, I'd be like, hey, sorry, I go live on Monday.
Yeah.
And I love to do another day with you. And there's a lot of people that are doing Thursdays also where you're just like, I want to ask you. And sometimes I'll throw it out there like, hey, I know you do a show, but if you want, and I don't get upset because if somebody asked me, I'd be like, sorry, I'm planning July. Like I just hit someone up and they're like, you're planning ahead.
You are super ahead. I don't know anybody who's as far ahead as you. Like seriously, when you asked me, it was like 3 months ahead of time, man. Like I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing next week, but I'll put this in my phone.
It's because like so far I've been doing this. I think Thursday with a Friend is like 2 years.
Wow.
I've never had a repeat guest.
That's
Because
incredible.
that's like I want to talk to, and first off, I said I'll never talk to an avatar. I got to talk to a real person.
Oh yeah.
Some people don't want to show their face, and that's fine. But you don't get the expression, you don't get the real person when you're talking to an avatar.
You can do that on like listen mode, but for viewing
Or
mode,
if there's like 10 people on or 4
Yeah.
people, and you're like, there's that avatar.
Yeah. That's a no in my podcasting too, man. I don't.
Yeah, and this was always meant to showcase the person, get to know their life. So what's the use of constantly bringing people back on? But I've thought about it. I said I think it's time to maybe bring back some of the early guests because I know some of these people better. My interviewing style or my conversation style has gotten better, but a lot of people have got into YouTube since I was actually on with them. I like to talk to the little guys. No offense, you're not one of the little guys.
No,
I love talking to the little guys. I like being able to showcase them, and it's probably going to be my topic too, because we see the same people go round and round. It's like they do the circuit, and believe me, I'm part of the circuit. I fully understand that. Like, there's a lot of people that like to have me on, and they like to have you on, and we, it's like,
oh yeah.
Let's build the community. Bring up some of these smaller guys, just as long as they don't do Mondays and Thursdays.
That's what I started doing a couple of months ago. I was just like, like people I've gotten to know. I was just like, let's just try to get people to know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have a few new guys that we're going to be bringing up too, so that you haven't seen. So I was gonna say I like doing that. Like like I started doing it like 6-7 months ago, and like it makes the show better. You know what I mean? It varies it up. You can't have the same people on the same show all the time. It gets old.
I didn't want to ask you on right after I had Gaines on because I'm like, I don't want to have them both on. I want to break it up.
Yeah.
Just like after Joe Fest, I'm like, I met all these new people. I don't want to have like 2 months of people from Joe Fest because not everyone's watching this as a G.I. Joe fan, or they don't care about it. So it's like, let's break it up. And now I know some of these people that want to do shows or they're doing shows. So you have these new people. But I have found that sometimes it's easier to talk to someone you don't know because you don't know them. So you're able to lead the questions. You kind of go down the road where if I talk to Tony's Figs, man, we're going to go off on some tangent because I literally talk to the guy almost every single day of my life. I talk to my moderator. Like, I have to work on, and this, talking to people. Sometimes something, but everyone doesn't. So you have to lead them down that road.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like, well, I know this. So why don't you no, you want people to feel like you're being just as surprised.
Exactly. And like, that's a part of the interview is to unwrap the onion, peel the onion back. You know what I mean?
Just
so I got it.
No tears. No tears.
Yeah, but honestly, like Angelo Toy Gaines, he's a monster. Like, if we get somebody, he's just Mr. Questions. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I'm just like, go ahead, man. Like, we even just made a thing where I call him Larry Gaines because he turns into somebody else, man. He's got 1,000 fucking questions. So.
Oh, I love it. Let's head to the chat really quick, and then we'll get into some questions about you. Definitely. We have Same Time Toys. We have Menhoza. We have Talib 1980, Talib, who I've just asked to be on in July.
He's great, man. He's great. Like, he plugs my stuff on Instagram like crazy, man. So I can't thank him enough.
We got Tristan. We have Woody 222, which I know in real life.
Oh, I love Woody, man. I love hanging out with Woody.
SCS Dog, Krusty O'Crow. We have Kevin Herbert, who I believe is probably from your channel because I don't believe I've ever seen him before.
Yeah.
Great to have new people. U.S. Combat Dojo. We have Rowdy Riles. Vom Don Doom. You can't say that too fast. Or you can say it completely wrong.
Yes.
We have John Tagdamir, he's got to be from yours too.
Yep.
Need more Larry Gaines.
Yeah.
This is old too. This is from
Yeah.
this is from 1003.
They know, man. They know. It's funny and surprising, and it's a beautiful thing when people catch your gimmicks and run with them.
Turk Murphy Toy Solution. We have Clint Jorgensen has joined us. There's Tony's Figs. I knew he wouldn't miss this one. We have my moderator Matthew Matson joining here. Cooter's Garage, which is seriously one of the funniest names because it can be in so.
Well, and to have Tom DeLuise, Captain Chaos down there is amazing. So he gets 10 points for that alone.
The word cooter is just funny.
It is a funny word. I'm not gonna lie.
Eric Thurman, Viper Scout. We have Len, and I'll never get his name right. My daughter got it right. I think
I can't get that right.
Mr. Wonderful has joined us. Jake Anderson. We have my other moderator, Action Fig, saying, "Hey Lucy, I'm home." See, now if I would have read that whole thing, I would have known what he was trying to say. Action Figure Addict has joined us. See, I don't highlight them, so I just go through and then I have to remember who it is that I haven't already said hi to. It's a big A.
Oh, that's Larry Gaines.
What
right
about
there.
What about a split personality? Oh, I remember him talking about this.
Oh yeah, this is a real thing, man.
Yeah, I remember.
Big A is here.
We have Ultramentish, the NFL Draft, and Yojo Jerks. Hey, you know what? I can't help it that the draft decides to schedule something on the day I do stuff.
Yeah, it happens.
John Battle. We have Sean Jones. We have 6'10", who I understand is actually that tall. Halt the Basher. There's that big A again. We have K-Mac. Did we say Krusty Old Crow?
We did, but say it again.
I know. Krusty. I talked to Krusty already today. All right. So let's just ask, where does the name Yojo Jerk come from?
It was a Yojo June, like a very long time ago. I looked at it and I saw it wrong, and it looked like Yojo Jerk instead of Yojo June, and I was like, that rolls off the tongue. I was like, I'm gonna go with that. So that's kind of where it was at, and like Classified had just started, and I was like, this is kind of what's getting me pumped to want to review things. Like, I'm like excited about this. Like, I like Marvel Legends because I like comic books, but like them to resurrect G.I. Joe in a different way was interesting to me.
So then was it a play off of G.I. Joe? I mean, I know Yojo
June. It was a play off of Yojo June. Like I said, I just saw it at the corner of my eye wrong, and I was like, what? So,
but it has nothing to do with you only wanting to do G.I. Joe stuff, because you do a lot of different stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even when I started, I did not want to get bottlenecked into just being a G.I. Joe guy. So, like, if you kind of look at the order of my videos, my first 3 or 4 videos weren't G.I. Joes, because I was like, if I do any G.I. Joes, like, before I have like a rhythm, like, people are going to annihilate me. So I didn't know that at the time. You know what I mean? I was just like, let's see where it goes, because the whole idea of it, like, just got me excited for it, because like Joe's, I just stopped collecting because I just didn't like the scale anymore, and I didn't like when they retooled them to be like non-O-ring. They look cheap
the modern
to me.
4-inch.
Yeah, I just didn't like them, and I would admire them from afar, and I liked the 25th anniversary stuff, but I was like, at the time, I was like window shopping it because it was in our store, so I got to enjoy seeing it, but I didn't buy any of it. So
let me ask you, we're kind of jumping ahead because
now
we're talking about your YouTube channel. Do you find a lot of people leave comments that like, because I know I find it a lot where they're like, "Hey, I'm not collecting this. I love being able to admire it from afar through your eyes." Do you get a
I
lot of people to make comments like that?
I
Because I get a good
don't
amount of them.
I don't because I'm a goofy bastard in my videos. So people play more to the goofy jokes this end of it when they leave comments. It's more of the stupid shit I say
Okay.
that they leave comments on. But I've had a lot of people that say, they're like, well, I only collect this version of Joe, but I like to see, what
Yeah.
the new stuff looks like without buying it. So, and I think those are just older heads who just want to see what it looks like, but they're happy with what they have. So I get it.
Do your people in there that just watch you for you? They don't care what you review?
Uh
That you
I have
notice?
I have a nice chunk of my audience that will follow me anywhere, but a big chunk only want to see either me do Mezcos or they want to see me do GI Joe only.
Okay.
So they're a big chunk of them are GI Joe onlys,
Oh yeah.
and I do get guys who, because I don't do every figure, I don't do that. Like, and I'll get guys who like email me and they're like, "Why didn't you review this one?" And I'm just like, "Whoa!" I'm like, I
I,
don't do that. I'm like, I only pick and choose, and sometimes I'll do a whole wave, but sometimes I won't do releases even. I'll just enjoy them for what they are, So,
see.
I have gotten the weird email.
I review
So
like almost everything I get.
you're a machine.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a machine, sir. Like
And
you're a different breed of person
I
because you can
I
review
like
every
to.
day and you could do a half-hour video every day. I can't do it.
Well, again, you also see I don't put a lot into my editing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put a lot into your edit. I do everything on my phone, but it's still it still takes time.
Yeah,
Uh,
Angelo does everything on his phone. You
yeah.
wouldn't believe, like, even Woody all on his
Oh yeah.
phone. Yeah.
Believe me, I know because Woody hit me up like asking me a whole bunch of questions, and Woody was the only other person that I've talked to that's had the same problems with the iPhone where it flips something upside down.
Oof.
So
Mhm.
there's 2 videos out there where
Mhm.
there's a section where I'm upside down, and I didn't
Mm.
know. It was like 2 weeks, and then someone said, you gotta watch the end, it's the funniest part," and I was like, "Dude, this video is like 2 weeks old," and I go and watch it, and I'm upside down.
Yeah, I learned that lesson, like, the 3rd video I made a mistake, and I was like, "I gotta watch all my videos from start to finish before I upload them, no matter what, can't
Well,
take my eye away for a second." Because yeah,
you
I've made mistakes like that.
did you ever see the Halo jumper that I did?
I did not.
So I did, and I went out there, and on a whim, I was like, "I wanna go see if this thing works." So I went out there, and I did for was it for science, I think? I but so
Oh,
my
wait, I did see you toss them up.
yeah,
Yes.
so then the end, I do my talk,
Mhm.
and it was right someone's like, "Oh my god, that's so funny." It goes into super slow motion, and even if you play it
Oh.
on times 2, it still doesn't even come close. It's so bad, and I have no
Oh.
idea. I have no idea why. I've never had a slow motion bef before or since, and I had people like, "Just delete it." I'm like, "Who the fuck cares?"
Yeah.
First off, these reviews have a finite amount of time, 2 to 4 weeks. Every now and then you get one that's kind of sticking around, right? But we get our most of our views 2 to 4 weeks. And if people find it funny, then they can laugh about it. If someone wants to make fun of me, so be it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've been
Let
at
me
this
tell
a
you, I'm
long
not losing any
time.
sleep.
You've heard it all, believe me.
Exactly.
I've seen crazy shit in my time here, and it's just like, whatever, man. I just keep going. I don't care.
And in 1 second, let's
Here comes the money.
Yep, my boy.
Money talk. Here comes the money.
Van Morrissey with the 1999 super chat saying, "We like Jerk for the jerk he is. Cheers. Punk also enjoy your videos."
Yeah.
I love when people are like, "We really like that guy." I'm like, "Thanks. I'm here too." I'm all about making people like in my real life, like you don't really know, or even people you know. I love making people feel uncomfortable.
That's fun though, man.
Like
I
when you
I do
watch
that
their
to new
face.
guys at work, man. Like I level new people at work
Oh,
that way.
and
So, you know.
see, I got a dark sense of humor. I think you probably do too. My mom passed away when I was 13.
Mhm.
So, as you might imagine, as a 49-year-old, we were, I think, the first generation of mom jokes. And you'd be like 16, 17. I'd be like, yeah, my mom's dead. And you'd watch their face just turn. Now,
Yeah.
if you like the person, you'd come in like, I'm just, if you didn't like the person, then you just turn around and make them feel like shit the rest of the time.
Yes. Yes.
But you know what? If you're not making people feel bad, then what are you really doing in life, right?
Well, sometimes you're teaching somebody a lesson that needs one. So, you know,
And
it
I'm sure I've
happens.
been taught a few of them too over time.
Yeah, as long as you can recognize it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've been put in my place plenty in my life and I've learned lessons from it. So,
Isn't that the biggest thing? Learn
yep.
from your lessons, man.
Yep.
So anyway, do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am 45.
Oh, you're
So,
young.
yeah,
Yeah.
not as young as I want to be, but yes. Yes. So,
So,
I,
no, you're about to say something?
no.
Okay. So what was your family life like? Like growing up, were your parents together? Did you have brothers,
I
sisters?
I have an older brother who's
Okay.
50. Um, I grew up in the woods, far away from most of my friends. So, you know, like I would say, and my parents were workaholics. So, like, I learned to cook and I learned to do my laundry and I learned
Oh,
all that shit when I was like 7, 8 years old because I was given a house key and basically, you know, taught to raise myself. So, but it was good. It was good. I don't resent my parents for it. It like, you know, it worked. Everything worked, thankfully. I came out pseudo normal and like, you know, like I have a very strong work ethic because I saw their work ethic. So, you
I
know,
think that
in
I
that
think that'd be
regard.
huge.
But
Yeah.
I grew up in the woods, like, everybody from my family is from New York City except for me. I am the only one who was not born in New York City. My family moved out to, like, Eastern Pennsylvania in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So, I come from a very New York family, like, you know, but, it was just I grew up in the woods and, like, my closest friend was, like, a 25-minute ride one way, like, in a car. You know what I
Which
mean?
is
So
huge back then. It's not like
yeah.
today. I mean, Tony's one of my best friends. He lives in Arizona. I met him one time in my life.
Mhm.
You know, like
Mhm.
I now have to like all those times that my ex and I would tell my son, like, those aren't real friends. Like
Mhm. Yep.
now it's like, okay, they can be real friends. You can see
They
them,
are
you can
real
touch
friends
them.
now. Yeah. Yeah, but and that's where my love of toys came from because my
Okay.
brother would steal the video games and growing up in the 80s, you didn't really have 2 TVs. You know what I mean? Like you had one nice TV and maybe a shitty black and white
The
one.
black and white. I had
Yeah, and I
the black
got the
and white with
black
the
and white one. Yeah, that
yep.
wouldn't do anything. So like I used to just play with my toys. You know what I mean? That was a big thing as a kid for me.
So
Is
so having
my imagination. So
so having a brother that's 5 years now, 5 years when you're 45 and 50 isn't big.
not at all.
But when you're 5 and he's 10 or 10
Mhm.
and 50, that's huge.
Oh, yeah,
But you
we
said
didn't
you
oh,
lived in the sticks. Did you guys play together or was he just off doing his own thing?
he mainly was off doing his own thing. Like, he had a
Okay.
neighbor that was his age. So, like, you know, him and his friend would hang out, and I would just be like, "Well, I could play Nintendo or I could play with my toys." You know what I mean? So
I think Rowdy's saying she thinks you look way older. I would never have guessed 45. Not nice, Rowdy.
Yeah, thanks.
I know I always get that I look much younger than what I am.
Mhm.
And where I was skateboarding, it's probably about 6 years ago. I think I was like 44 at the time. And this guy comes up to me and he starts talking to me. He's like, "Yeah, you're one of the older guys, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "What are you, like 26?" I'm like,
Thank you.
26.
You want a hug?
My oldest is about that old.
Mm,
She says that's not what I meant. Okay, we know. Okay, Rowdy just went like never having jerk on my show now.
yep.
I'm 49, so approaching 50 in December because that's how numbers
Fun.
work. You go 49 to 50,
Yeah.
and I would always tell people, I go, if you're 41, 42, 43, 44, you can always say I'm almost 40.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like when people complain, "Oh, I'm over 40." Hey, you're almost 40. The problem is once you hit 45, then you're like, I'm almost 50.
I was thinking that the other day. I was taking a shit. And I was like, "Fuck!" Now I'm gonna say. Now I have to say I'm almost 50. God damn it.
So as a kid, do you remember like do you remember like your first memory of the first toys you played with? And I don't mean like the first ones you fell in love with. And I know for our age, a lot of it's the adventure people. You're a little bit younger, so
Yeah.
you probably remember some cooler toys.
It was Joe's. It was
Really?
Joe hand-me-downs, man. I got, from my cousins, some of the bigger, larger 12-inch ones, and from my brother who just was getting out of it. I was getting the O-rings, and we had leftover Masters of the Universe figures. That was pretty much my jam. It was either MOTU or G.I. Joe. So with a hodgepodge of here and there. It's kind of like how I collect now. Like I did have like one or two mass things, I had a Sectar, but it was mainly Joe's. So
I feel like the Masters of the Universe, and they were He-Man, because I didn't even know they were Masters of the Universe. I always call them He-Man.
Yeah, they were He-Man.
I feel like they are the greatest hand-me-downs of all time.
Yes.
Like they just survive, even when they get loose and floppy. They survive. Like an O-ring, like the thumb is snapped, or maybe the O-ring is snapped, the crotch is always snapped.
Crotch blown out.
But like MOTU, it was like they're the greatest hand-me-down, because when you have a loose transformer, that's what it is.
Yeah, you're screwed forever. Yes.
But MOTU, you smash them around, and I've said forever, I'm like, that seemed like the greatest hand-me-down of all time. And it seemed like they were hand-me-down forever.
Yes. And they really could take a beating, like all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they could, like, even because I work at a comic book store that buys collectibles and toys, even like MOTU, like they always come in and they're always fine. Just a little scuff face, but like that rubber band, the U rubber band that hooks their legs together.
I don't think I've ever seen what the rubber band looks like.
It's just this really long piece that, it looks like a sex toy. I'll just put it that way. That's double-ended. So basically it goes around the crotch piece and it comes down and you have to plug the legs in. It's a nightmare to change them out, but most of the time they're like indestructible. So that's back to your point. Like they're the ultimate hand-me-down that's almost indestructible. Like I rarely come across them when they need to be replaced,
And now as an adult, as a kid, there were some of the arms that they were super loose or they wouldn't stay on. Now we know the little tricks that are really easy to make it work. That you just pop them back on and you can do a permanent solution. Or I tell everyone, I'm like, if you're a collector and you don't have sticky tack all over your house, what the hell are you doing? Because that is a collector's best friend.
Or just Elmer's white glue. Like you put white glue in a loose joint, forget it, it's fixed.
And it peels off so easily.
Yeah, and then you just scratch off the shit that's on the surface, and no more maraca legs for your G.I. Joe. So.
I've never maraca.
Yeah,
so,
they just
So what was the first toys? Like, do you remember the first toys you fell in love with? Was it G.I. Joe?
It really was G.I. Joe. Like throughout my entire childhood, it was always G.I. Joe, even up until when I stopped playing with them. It was For me, I liked it and I liked the cartoon, but after a certain while, I got a screwdriver kit and I started making my own Joes. And
Yes.
that was what brought me my love for Joes even more as a kid because I would be like, oh, I'm going to buy him to get his legs. And then I'll go to the flea market and buy a bunch of broken ones and fix them because I know how to do it now. So, like, that part of it kept me going when G.I. Joe got weird after the movie. You know what I mean? Like, so
I've heard Lenny talk about that numerous times, how like that was the ultimate. Like you were customizing and you didn't know you were
I
customizing.
did not even know. I was just building figures that I thought looked cool. You know what I mean?
And if you don't know, I was pretty spoiled. I had the headquarters, the carrier, and everything. But I would always be building bases. And someone made a comment on my headquarters review that I just did, saying I never had it. We made base out of the shoe boxes, and I'm like, we used to do the same thing. It was the greatest. And when you look back, it's like we were building dioramas before we knew what they were. I would
Yep.
spend 8 hours setting up my figures to destroy
Mhm.
them in a half hour, 45 minutes in the battle that they were going to do.
Yep. I used to do that on my parents' staircase. I used to
Yes.
set every step up as, another part of their little adventure up the stairs. So, yeah, it
I
was like little dioramas and shit.
I used to love anytime I went somewhere like doctor's office, anytime there was like a little cubby, I'd be like, that's a perfect place for a helicopter to land.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Again, and I think that transferred over into being a skateboarder because even now I look at handrails and ledges, which I'm never gonna do again. Like,
Yeah.
it's in my mind. I'm like, oh, I could so do that handrail, and then I get
Yeah.
on my board again. I'm like, nope, that's quite all right.
Yeah. Well, that's, being creative, making the Kit Bash G.I. Joes
Yeah.
got me into drawing, and then that got me into comics because I was like, oh, there are these things that, are like the pictures I want to draw. So,
So what other toys did you have a huge fondness for? I know you said MOTU, and
uh,
you said you had a little bit of stuff here and there, but
it
was there
was,
anything?
there really wasn't, man. Like, kind of when the X-Men, like, cartoon came out, I was
Okay.
excited for the toys, not the cartoon, because I read comics as a
All right.
very young kid. Like my mom taught me to read with comic books, so I really got into comic books when I was younger. So, like, when the X-Men cartoon came out, I hated it because I was like, why didn't they just make the comic book? Like I was that kid. I was, like I didn't like it because I read the good stuff when I was like 8 or 9, you know what I mean? Like when you read Days of Future Past as an 8 or 9 year old, and then you watch the first episode of, X-Men, it's like, oh, even as a kid, you're like, oh. So I was
That
just excited for the toys. So I think I got the first wave of them very slowly, and that was kind of like I was like, oh shit, comic book toys. So
See,
because
that's how
I did have Secret Wars, but they were so hard to find in my area. I think I had a Wolverine and I lost his claws immediately. So
I feel about like the Joe collectors now that are like they all want like the cartoon, and I'm like, the cartoon is stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but it's nothing
yeah,
compared to the comic. And that's
yes,
what everything is basically built off of. It's
mhm,
really the comic. I mean, they were writing everything to go with the comic, not the cartoon. And
yep,
I'm amazed at how many Joe collectors now don't realize that. That blows my mind.
it is, it is. Because like, and the comic books, like they weren't that kid friendly. Like they weren't like stupid Spider-Man adventures. So
No.
it was definitely good. But as a kid, it was hard for me to get GI Joe comics. They weren't easy to get where I was at. So I would get like like an issue like 28 or like a 41, but I mainly did like more superhero stuff as a kid, like G.I. Joe. I will admittedly say I knew more about the cartoon than I did
Yeah.
about the comic as a kid, because it was about bright, flashy colors and costumes as a kid. So that's what I was more drawn to.
And I remember getting the comic at 7-Eleven or Perry
Mhm.
Drugs. I don't know if you guys ever had Perry Drugs. It became Rite Aid, and Rite Aid went out of business. But
Mhm.
you know, the old spinner racks.
Yes. Mhm.
And what's kind of strange is that, like, I had issue 10 of G.I. Joe, and I still have my original. I have issue 21. It is worth about 21 cents because it was my original.
Yeah, it's fragged.
Yeah, and I wouldn't get rid of it anyway. Not that it's worth anything. And then
No,
you can
it's
kind of see where I finally started like buying them all, because then you see them start going in order.
Mhm.
But I was picking, you know, I probably had other ones that got thrown away or whatever. But I mean, G.I. Joe was just, I can't remember where I saw it the first time, asking my dad if I could get one, what I was playing with. There was just something about it that, again, we're coming out of the Vietnam era. A lot of our parents served
Mhm.
in Vietnam, or
Oh yeah.
we had family members that served in Vietnam, and
Mhm.
it's a little different today.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
People look at Vietnam like we looked at like World War One.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what? That
Yeah.
was a real war? Like,
Yeah,
it was.
exactly.
So as you get older, now you said you're basically out in the sticks. Did
Mhm.
you continue to play with toys? Now, I don't say collect, because we didn't collect toys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we were collecting toys as a kid, we had a really shitty childhood, right? Where your
Yeah.
parents are like, you can look at it through the box. Like, that sucks. As you went into middle school, were you still playing with toys, or because you said you were by yourself a lot?
Yeah, I ended up getting into art more. Like, I wanted to spend my time drawing more.
Okay.
So, like, it just kinda naturally, like, progressed from going to elementary school to, like, middle school. I was like, "Well, I'm getting older, and I wanna draw more, and I need to, you know, more time for this." So, I just kinda went headlong into the art thing, and,
Okay.
like, I had gotten into better art classes, like, in middle school, like, so I just wanted to focus on that and that only. Like, everything, like, academically suffered except for stuff that involved artwork.
Now, are you just a? Do you just have pure talent when it comes to art?
No, no,
Okay.
I have no talent for anything. I seriously work at everything I do. Like,
But
nothing comes natural.
you can.
I've never, like, I play an instrument. Like, I've always worked hard to be just okay at it. You know what
But
I
you
mean?
can
Like,
work hard at something and still be good at it.
oh yes, yes. I'm just saying, like it doesn't come easy.
Okay.
Like, I'll put it that way. Like, everything that, like, I involve myself with, it's challenging to me to do. You
All
know
right.
what I mean? It isn't like, oh, I'll just put that on autopilot and I can do this. No, it's hours of practice, hours of editing, hours of whatever, fixing my lights, it's always something. So,
Yeah, my best friend growing up, he was just an amazing artist. And I'd stay the night at his house, or and we'd draw, and I'd spend like 2 hours doing one, and I'd look over and he has 20 different pictures that are
oh,
better
geez.
than anything I have ever drawn in my
Uh,
entire life. And he was always very encouraging, but it made me hate wanting to do it, because
yeah.
I'm just watching just how I mean, he's drawing like he would draw the Crimson Twins, like one getting his neck cut and the other
Mhm.
one bleeding out. And here I am, like, trying to draw anything. And he'd always very encouraging. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, you know it sucks. Like,
Yeah,
you know it sucks.
in high school, because I learned I also play bass,
Okay.
guitar. Uh, I was learning and I was getting pretty good for my age. And then, like, I met this kid who was like a year younger than me, who was like a music prodigy. Okay. And, like, I had saved up like years of just like doing chores, doing whatever, getting a job to get like a very special instrument made for me. And like that was one of a kind. And I remember playing and he's like, "Oh, can I see it?" And dude, he played that thing like, oh, I was just like, I didn't even want to pick it up after like 2 weeks. He like made me sick to my stomach. He just, and it wasn't even like he wasn't even a bass player, like he was a guitar player. And holy God, he just like just put me in my place immediately. I was like, shit.
But you still play though, right?
Yeah, but you know, when that
No,
happens to you, like, you know, when you're like, "Oh, I think I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right."
See,
Then you meet somebody who's like, "Eh, whatever. I don't even play this fucking thing." And they're like, "Brrr," and you're like,
I've often said like there are skateboarders, and then there are people who skateboard. And to be a skateboarder, you don't have to be great. But I'm a skateboarder, man. I to this day, I see stuff, I think it, I want. I mean, I love it, right? But then there are people who are 10 times more talented than me. They can quit doing it for 9 months, not miss it, step back on it like they've never missed a beat, and you're like, I fucking hate you. I hate everything about you because I just want that much talent because I have that much drive. And
yeah,
here you are like, hey, you know what? I just spent the past 9 months smoking and doing coke. I haven't even stepped on a skate. And then they step on it, and you're like, you know, I hope you break your ankle.
yeah,
I would never wish that upon anyone. But
yeah. It's one of those moments, though. Yes, I totally get it. Where you're just like, "Fuck." You're like, damn, I practice all the fucking time and can't get that good. Yeah.
And you don't get mad if it's someone who's like putting in as much time and effort as you.
No,
But when it's that one person that's like, they're like, man, I haven't even ruined my board in 3 months. And then they're like, can I see your board? And you're like, well, you know, my trucks are, and they jump on it and you're like, I hate you. They're like, I don't really skate them this loose. And then they're doing everything. And you're like, oh, wow, must really suck to skate someone else's board that's nothing like yours.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming when someone takes your bass,
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
I dabble in the bass a little bit, but mostly play the guitar, and then they're like
Shred.
Primus.
And he did. That's exactly what he did. A 16-year-old kid played Tommy the Cat with no fucking drummer. Okay. I've never seen anything like it in my life. He was a musical prodigy, though. Like he did go to Juilliard, and
So it makes you feel better.
But in the end, he didn't become a musician, and he's a fucking teacher somewhere. So I make more money working at a comic book store. All right, I'm good.
I often think about some of the people that like, and I was pretty good at skateboarding, but you know the people that were really good, and you'd be doing a trick, and they would have to do that trick, even though they don't care, just to show you they could do it. And there's one of those guys, and I'm like, yeah, you're dead now.
Yeah. One of my
he is.
really,
You know, he drank himself to death. Like
it happened.
And you're kind of like, you don't want to feel bad, but you're like, he was such a dickhead.
Well, sometimes you can just see it coming.
And one of my best friends, he's like, when he was sober, he was such a good guy. I'm like, yeah, I never saw him like that.
Yeah.
So in high school is the same thing. I'm assuming you don't seem like a sports ball guy.
No, I played football actually.
Really?
Yes, I played football for like a season. It was hilarious. I had long hair even back then. It used to drive my coach insane. So
do you follow sports now, or are you?
No, I do not. Okay. I used to like to play sports, but I got an eye injury. I actually got shot with a BB gun in my face, like at point blank range. And I'm now blind in my left eye, like legally. Like I just see mush. So that ruined my art career and it ruined my depth perception. So no more baseball, no more football. It pretty much ruined everything I was doing.
There is a guy at my park. There's a blind skateboarder. And he's not good for a blind guy. He is fucking amazing as a skateboarder. And when I watch stuff before he lost his vision, Like he was on his way to go into California, and I don't know if he'd ever be pro, but he had sponsors lined up and everything, and then he lost his vision. And there's a whole bunch of like blind skateboarders now. And I've told the guys there, I'm like, if I go blind, I'm just gonna sit around and watch Marvel movies or listen to Marvel movies. And the owner of the skate park, he's about 20 years older than me. George is like, nah, you'll find a way to start skating. I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm already tempting fate at this age as it is.
Yeah, you are, man. I won't even do that shit. You got a couple of years on me, and I won't fucking jump on a skateboard ever again.
It's just second nature. I say that now, but my boss looks at me and he goes, I can't stop you. I'm like,
no, it's good for you, man. That's good exercise. That's great for balance, mental, everything. Like, it's really good.
Yeah, my thing is, like, if I hurt myself playing basketball, no one blinks an eye. But if you hurt yourself skateboarding, like, really? Don't you think you're a little old? It's like, well, yeah, but I'm not doing big, 18-step handrails. I'm not skating big vert ramps. It's like, it's second nature to me. No one thinks about someone that's playing beer league hockey and gets hurt.
Yeah.
Except for the boss that goes, I need you here.
Yeah. It's like, you're calling out for that.
So during high school, what did you do? Because it sounds like you stopped with the toys, right?
Yeah, and it was art, and then I had my accident, and then it was find a brand new direction.
Can I ask about this accident?
Yeah.
What happened?
I can only briefly say so much about it.
Okay.
But basically, I used to just hang out with a lunatic.
Okay.
And he was goofing around, thought the safety was on when it wasn't. So, shit hit the ground, bounced back up.
Oof.
Hit my orbital bone a millimeter away from my eye, exploded the bone on my orbital into the back of my eye, which basically didn't go into my eyeball, but what it did is it hit it so fucking hard that it blew up blood vessels inside my eye that released blood. So basically I have a giant floating blood spot that covers a chunk of my vision. So
now, how old were you?
14.
Wow. So,
yeah.
Not that this matters. Was it a BB or a pellet?
It's a pellet. It's a pellet. It's still in my head because they would literally have to. Well, what happened when it hit the orbital and the orbital exploded? The BB slowed enough where it hit my eye, did not puncture it, but scratched it and slid behind it.
Oh.
So yeah, I have like probably a piece of scar tissue behind my eye like this with a BB in it. So
now do you feel it? Like, can you tell that it's
not anymore? But the first like 2 years were like light sensitivity, headaches all the time. But your brain does a magic thing when you're hurt, especially with your vision. Over time, it just kind of disappeared. So like now it's just like, I would say I can't see anything past back here, but I can make out stuff far enough ahead. But it just screwed my depth perception up a little bit. So like with drawing, I could still draw, but if I don't lay down a grid, my drawings will become slightly crooked.
Okay.
And when you're drawing something, you're focusing in one area, not as a whole. So like you'll step back and you'll be like, fuck, like I just put all this time into something and it's not fixable because it's just the hair. Like one ear is a little lower, or a jaw point, or like a shoulder isn't sitting right. So I just kind of gave it up, like, and became a doodler. I could draw cartoon characters and shit like nothing, but I wanted to draw comics. And, I was just like, I can't do this because I would draw it, take hours, and then go back and fix it. I was like, I can't do this the rest of my life. Like draw something and then have to fix it. Draw something, have to fix it. When
Yeah,
it's
it seems
when
very
you got to produce a certain amount of pages a day, being a comic book artist, you have to draw at least 1 to 2 pages a day to make a real living. So I was like, at that rate, I was like, it's impossible. So,
John, I want to. He says, my mom's then boyfriend took my board all the time, and then one day he tried to jump the hood of a car. Needless to say, it was one of the greatest days of my youth watching him take it.
Nice. That's a ballsy thing to do. Like, no matter who you are, man, even if you were fucking Tony Hawk, like jumping over a car.
Dude, the owner of the skate park, he's in his 60s now. He has the third oldest skate shop.
Wow.
He came back from California and he started this, but he got into rollerblades. He was a hockey guy too. And there's a picture of him jumping a car.
Wow.
And slamming a basketball. And when my buddy showed it to me, he goes, "That's George." And I'm like, bullshit. Now you could tell that it was an old picture because he has I'm looking at it and he's like, dude, if he couldn't get someone to try something, he'd go and do it.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, I grew up in that era that we didn't like rollerbladers. It got super popular. Skateboarding died.
I know.
But I actually respect the rollerbladers now. I'm inliners. They don't like be called rollerbladers. It's like people saying, "Oh, you fix Xerox?" No, I don't. I fix copy machines. But I respect them now because they're doing the same thing we used to do. Like we're doing it for the love of it. But I always give them credit because once you committed on a rollerblade, there was no bailing.
None.
You were not able to bail. You were going.
Yeah, we had a couple of guys that like ran in a pro circle with that at like one of the guys worked at the shop, and he'd be like, "Oh, look at my video," and I'd be like, "Jesus Christ!" Or one time he came in and his whole fucking rib cage just down his side. He's like, "Yep." He's like, "I was on a rail going really fast, slipped, and I went down the rail like 14 feet on my ribs."
Yep.
And dude, it was just like green and red, like all the bad colors of a bruise. Like,
when I got back into skating, I took some awful slams. And I mean, I had swellbo, which I had never even heard before. And then you realize, and then, I would only wear my elbow pads, and I only skated the mini ramp after I hurt myself. Like after I fell. And then I finally, once I stopped falling all the time, I just stopped wearing it altogether. Yeah. But people are like, "Why don't you wear it before?" That's probably stupid. I wear it after I get hurt. I mean,
yeah. I gotta protect the hurt spot now.
That's exactly it. And believe me, it hurt, man. Swellbo is not. I mean, wow. That's so. After this happens, what are you doing in high school? Like, what are you focusing on?
Yeah, I was just lost to figure out what I wanted to do, and then I realized that I really liked watching movies. Like that was always a big thing growing up too. The one thing we did have because we lived in the middle of nowhere was cable with HBO. So I luckily got to watch shitloads of HBO and saw lots of amazing movies. And I was like, if I can't make comics, I still, not as a kid, you don't think it, but your next inevitable thing is like, well, I want to still make art. I just can't make this kind of art. So I kind of just was getting into music and I was getting into film. And, when you're a kid, like you want to become a rock star or a movie actor or something. So I was like, I got into music, and that's when I started to play bass more and more. I picked it up because of my brother having one, but I didn't get serious at it at it until after, I got into an accident, and, you're becoming a teenager and like you're meeting people in high school who play different instruments. And, I ended up getting into a band. So, that's where it eventually led, until probably about 18, 19, because I did get into a band that did play shows on a regular. So we
What
kind
kind
of,
of was it a specific type of music, or was it?
honestly, the weirdest thing in the world is I love funk music and I like Primus stuff and I like
Okay.
bass, like centric players like Marcus Miller, who's a jazz guy, and like what the hell is his name? Jaco Pastor was a crazy fretless jazz player in the 60s and 70s. But I got into like that kind of, stuff. But all my buddies got into hardcore metal. So they were like, oh, we kicked our bass player out of the band. Do you want to be in the band? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. I want to get laid. so I put all my musical morals off to the side and I played in this fucking crazy hardcore band. And we opened for a lot of bands that became real bands. But back then, like we opened for Evanescence before their, big album came out. I played a Hate Breed record release party, like their first album on Roadrunner. We played that record release party, and we used to just always play these shitty hardcore shows in New Jersey and Eastern.
Hey.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it,
Let's
punk.
not go there, all right?
I loved it, man. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I still love it.
like the kids are picking up the change and windmill punching them.
If you've
like
ever watched
brutal pits,
if you've ever watched Sick of It All's or Sick of It All's video,
yep,
I think it's Step Down,
mhm.
and they go through all the different hardcore dances, picking up change, the gorilla,
the windmill.
Yes, I laughed because like they're showing it, and like I would show it to people, and they're like, "Do they really do that?" I'm like, "Oh, you have no idea.
You have no fucking
Like
clue.
that
Oh
is
my
exactly
God.
what it looks like. The picking up change. I'm like,
I've pulled teeth out of like my shirt from people just being leveled in pits, dude. Like, and we used to play with like crazy hardcore bands like Concrete, or it was E-Town Concrete. We played with them. There was another one. I can't remember all the fucking names of all the bands, but weirdly enough, where I'm located in PA in New Jersey, like we're just in this weird hub of like crazy bands. Like Danzig and Stallone, when I was a kid, like had a house not far away from, where I live. And I live near the Frazetta Museum. Like that's always just been there in my whole life, like when I was a kid, like my mom would take me to Frazetta's, like Frank Frazetta, when I was like an 8-year-old, like let me hold the other Conan sword from the movie. Cause they gave Arnold one of them and they gave Frazetta one of them. And it used to be in his costume shop. And old man Frank, like he let me hold that fucking thing, man. It was amazing. Like a memory I will never forget.
Yeah, but like when it comes to like there's the New York or the East Coast hardcore, East Coast punk, and then there's the California hardcore. A completely different sound. Completely different. Yeah. And you were like that New Jersey area, obviously New York, Pennsylvania. A lot of it travels, I know, over to Detroit.
Yeah.
But like there's a huge, you got all the DC bands, Bad Brains. I know everyone knows Bad Brains, but no one realized Bad Brains is a real band.
Yeah.
And Sick of It All has a song called Crazy White Boy Shit. And it's a song about Bad Brains because everyone thought they were a crazy white boy band until they saw them and realized they were like this hardcore reggae band. But yeah, you get you're right in that. I know a lot of friends that, there's there's only like 20 punk or hardcore musicians in Michigan. and we just play in the same. We just start new bands.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
there's like 200 bands, but there's only like 20 of us. So
That's fun though. That's fun, man. Like I still once in a blue moon still just go jam with my old drummer. Like we just still just
no, that's awesome.
do improv once in a while. I mean, we haven't done it in a while, but yeah, we'll just sit down and jam because we've been doing it for 20 years. You know what I mean? We just know each other's rhythm. You know, like I know where he's gonna go, he knows where I'm gonna go, and we could just play for like 40-minute sets of just jamming. So
yeah, I have a buddy that he's traveled all over the world in a small. It was a metalcore band. And he's like, I don't even like metalcore, but I could sing.
Yeah.
And so he's traveled around the world and he said it was awful. He goes, I think I went to Disney. He goes, I went to Disneyland, Japan one time. He goes, we're living off $10 a day, driving through other countries.
It sucked.
He goes, do you know what it's like to hear your roommate breathe and just want to punch him for the way he sounds?
Yeah, I mean,
but he plays now, and he's like, he has a career, and he's like, now it's just for fun. It's like how when I skateboard or my toys, it's a passion, but I also know it's not what's going to pay the bills.
Exactly. Same deal. I got to a point where I was like, it's either going to be music or it's going to be movies because it can't be both. You can't do that. Like your focus isn't there. Like you're either going to do one or another. And I was like, I don't want to be a musician. I fucking hate this. Like I like playing music, but like you said, like we went on a little tour through, you know, fucking all the way up to Canada and back down. And I came back with no money, fucked up equipment, no sleep. The tour van was just destroyed. Like it was an adventure, but like it wasn't like by our like 10th show, it was like we're pissed at each other for even agreeing to have done any of this for the amount of money we did it for. So
let me ask you a question. Do you know who Operation Ivy is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you listen to Rancid?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Rancid has a song.
Isn't that just the same guy? Like isn't Operation Ivy?
Two of the guys are. So the singer of Operation Ivy is not he's not in it.
Okay.
But they have a song. God, I forget what song it is. Journey to the End. And there's a verse that they specifically talk about not knowing what they created, being in a van, driving like 10,000 miles, and basically hating each other by the time they got back. Like they had no idea because there's no social media. They had created this sound and this movement, and by the time they got back, two of them fucking hated each other and didn't talk for years. You know, and they broke up. Like they had no idea. You know, they say it's everything that you just said is exactly it. And you toured not even as far as them. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like
no, we did a regional tour. Maybe went through like 5 or 6 dates, a couple of tour dates in each. Like we buzzed Canada, like on the state line. Yeah, like.
But you can probably look back at it now and think like.
Oh, no. I learned a lot of things. You know what I mean? You always like, if you can't learn from something that you didn't like, then you're fucking shit up. You know what I mean? Like, you should always learn from the shit that fucked you up, man. Like, you know what I mean? So pretty much when we got back, I did a couple more local shows and I was like, I'm done, guys. I was like, it was fun. I got to go on tour, have fun, but, you know, like.
And probably even.
You know, my future with this is pretty much done here.
Probably easier that it wasn't music that you were in love with.
Oh my God, yeah.
So if it was music you love, then you're like struggling. Like I love playing this music.
Yeah.
You just were, hey, I was there. I was able to play. They needed someone.
Yeah.
I had a good time. I'll find another bassist.
It was the perfect time to join the band because they hadn't done an album. So like we did an album like 2 months after I joined the band. So it was just like, you know, I got to rewrite all the bass parts, like 2 good bass parts, you know what I mean? That like sounded interesting in it. Like it was perfect timing. So, you know, I can't complain. And it was fun, and it showed me that, do you want to do something like this? Do you want to get in the van every couple of months and do this to scrape by? And I was just like, movies sound a lot better because they pay a lot better. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much when I was like, you're gonna start to learn how to write. So
See, I have a lot of respect for that, because I told a lot of guys at the skate park, younger guys, I'm like, if you want to do something skateboarding, you got to do it now. Go out to California, because once you get to be my age or in your 30s, you have kids, you can't do it.
Nope.
Now, if I would have known, like, we didn't have social media, I thought you were either a pro skateboarder or you couldn't do anything. If I would have known there's team managers, there's photography, there's videography, there's just working in the business, I probably would have left for California when I was 18, 19 to do something in skateboarding, because I love it that much.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you had magazines. I didn't know about this, but there were some guys that left here that they never turned pro, but they were team managers. They pick, you're like, oh my God, that's Joe Brook. He has his fucking pictures in Thrasher magazine, right? Like, you don't, but I didn't think about that. Nowadays, this, and I would tell kids, I'm like, go now, because you get to be 30 and you wasted it.
Yep.
Because you don't want to restart over if you don't have to.
Yeah, and it sucks, dude. Restarting is the worst.
Yes.
And I've had to do it, man. Like, it's horrible. Like I've had it. Everything that I ever wanted to do, I've had to restart. And for one thing or another has fucked me. So, it's brutal when you have to do it. So.
And it's easier to restart when you already have something. That's what I'm trying to teach my son. I'm like, you get a job, right? And then worry about finding something else if you don't like it. Right? So, like, if I want to make my toy channel my life, or YouTube my life, let's just say, I don't think you can make a living off doing toys, but you can make a living off YouTube. It would be easier for me now, because I have a full-time job, a career that I've been at almost 25 years. But now I can do other things in YouTube. I understand how it works. And if I really wanted to focus on it, I could, doing movies, different things like that.
Oh yeah,
because I have a job. Where if I'm like, I'm quitting my job and I'm gonna do YouTube, well, you may end up finding out you're living on the street soon.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people think it pays, but it only pays when you're like 100,000 subscriber person. That's when the shit starts to pay. Like, other than that, and good luck, toy tuber who can get there. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm very honest with people. I go, I am one of the lucky ones that it pretty much pays for my hobby. It pays for almost all the toys, but that's also why I review everything, because I know I'm going to make some back. But there's a handful of reviews that I've done that have actually paid for a whole figure.
Yeah, I don't. I have maybe gotten 5 of those. So,
there's a handful, but sometimes you get the freebies and like, okay, and you get the super chats, and you get the channel members, like all that stuff. But again, new microphone, that's what they goes to. If your computer dies, you ain't streaming off this for what we do, right?
No.
There's nothing wrong with doing it, but when you
do it weekly and you do it more than twice weekly, yes.
And when your chat is huge, good luck trying to do a live stream and have your chat involved, and you're like,
no. That's impossible. And not only that, like you said, like, this is a computer for streaming only. You know what I mean? And I have an editing computer upstairs, like this whole setup is only for streaming, and it's a real PC, it's a real monitor. And you gotta, if you're going to do this, you have to do it right. Or nobody's going to watch. Like, if it looks like you're on your phone, like, nobody's going to watch. Like,
it's very difficult. Some people can. And I also tell people this, I go, very few people can grow a channel just doing live streams. I don't know why. People do not want to subscribe. when you're on your lives. So people right now, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. A lot of times you're not, you don't realize it.
Yep.
In the links or in the description, there's Yojo Jerks. Go over there. But for some odd reason, on reviews or pre-recorded stuff, you can get people to go, oh, I'm gonna like this.
Yep. Every time, man.
Every Monday, almost every Monday, I put in a poll just to see how many people are gonna click it. I'll have like 89 votes, but only 46 likes. And it's like, how did you not hit the like? You were able to go vote, which tells me you were on a computer, which means the little like buttons right now. A few people have said, hey, I don't know if I like this yet, right? Like,
yeah.
But sometimes it'll be like twice as many people voted, and it's like, but why didn't you hit the little thumbs up button? They're right there. Like, you hit one of
it's true. It is true. It's hard to get people to engage even when you're engaging. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is with YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, you really, like, if you're not going to go full toxic mode, like that's what gets you clicks. You know what I mean? And I could easily be the king of toxic people, like, but it's not who I am, and it's not worth keeping up a facade like that forever. So, like, I just would rather just play it the way I'm playing it, and slow and steady. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you go for the toxic views, you're getting people you don't want subscribe to your channel. You know what I mean? Like,
this guy right here, before he was my moderator, he was like the first person I talked to when I was very methodical about starting a channel or starting lives. I'm like, I want to make sure I can do it every single week.
Oh yeah.
And I had to pick out, and I didn't want to go Sunday. I didn't want to go Tuesday because of Geek Dad Life and toy anxiety. So Monday worked out perfect. Not even thinking that Monday Night Raw, and Monday Night Football, but I wasn't worried about football.
Yeah. I mean, you're thinking of YouTube and not TV. Yeah.
But I had told Matthew, I go, I don't want to be a drama channel because it is a cheap pop. It is that cheap pop for wrestling, right? Stone Cold Austin comes out. He rides his 4-wheeler around. He hits the barrier. Some lady says she's injured. I'm sorry, I saw that. I don't know how she got injured. All right, but it's like, it's a cheap pop. But once that drama goes away, guess what? Where do all those people go?
Yeah,
you haven't given them something. And I'm sure you've seen people that have done streams for a long time. They get 12 people watching, and they're every single week. And you want to be like, sorry, you're fucking boring. Right? Hey, to all my friends that only have 12 people watching, I don't think you're boring. You're probably fucking boring.
It's true. You have to be engaging. Like, that's a big part of all of this. You have to engage your audience, like
they just want to be seen. That's why every single person that comes in, if I notice it, I say hi to them. Yeah. Richard Sampson here saying, hey, Punk, because people just want to see their name brought up. I had, at the end of my Monday night show, I started highlighting everyone saying goodbye. Just one day I just started doing it. And I did it a few times. Yeah. And then a couple people hit me up and they're like, man, I love seeing you do that. I'm always waiting to see if you hide. And I'm like, well, I guess now when I have to take a piss really bad, I have to wait that 2 minutes because people, it makes them happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Without a doubt. Even before I had mods, I was always, even if we can't read what you're doing, like, we're putting it on the screen as we're going. Like, my screen is never empty. And even when I started to get mods, I was like, look, like, you got to put this stuff up. Even if I can't get to it, I want these people to know I do care. It's just, I don't want to ruin the pace of my show to read everything. So, that's usually how I play it, just because I like to keep it moving. You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I make sure the mods and myself are all over it. So
now, see, I don't have any mods in the back. Like, they just mod from the show,
Oh yeah, no, that's what they do too. Like,
so, like, there's no one
at home, he's not behind the scenes, like, he's not in the show. I just give
but they're not highlighting chats and everything.
Oh, they do. They
See, I
do.
don't have that. Like, I don't like. They
Oh,
don't
I
do
let
that.
them. Oh, I have. It's only 3 people get
Yeah.
that. So you know what I mean. It's usually like me and Gaines have control, and then our main moderator will, and then
Yeah.
like I just always leave Skelly because that's her thing. So
No, and again, like they just mod, but I really haven't needed it. And again, like Matthew here, he said, I know, yeah, you could mod, and I don't really want to do that just yet because the channel's not to that point where but the one thing that you need with a mod, and you know this, they have to think like you.
oh yeah, holy
Like they have
shit.
to know what you're thinking. Like my mods know, like you don't just kick someone out because they say, like, you kind of give them a chance. And sometimes you just let your chat take care of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh
you
yeah.
let your
Like,
chat take care of it.
yeah.
You know, you have to trust them. And we've had very few issues where we've had to actually boot people.
Yeah, it's
And
rare. When they have to do it live, it's a whole lot different than leaving a comment like on a video. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And especially if they know you have loyal people. You know what I mean? Like if you have guys who are there every fucking week at every fucking show, they are going to be your sword and shield if they see somebody being a fucking asshole in your chat. So
yeah, and especially when they know when people that are watching you, and even people that don't watch you, know what to expect. When you are open and honest about everything, like it's hard for people to come in and it's hard for people to come in and troll you because you're like, and I watched a lot of YouTubers that talk about it, not toy tube YouTubers, and one guy, you know, someone asked him a question. He you know, he answers his question. He says, "What do you do about someone that comes in to troll you?" And he said, "I boot them. I don't need them, and all they're going to do is bring down my chat. It's not that, oh, I'm insensitive. All you're going to do is bring down our chat. So why wouldn't I just boot them? There's no reason for them to be here." Luckily, we don't really get that. I don't think I assume you probably don't either.
I think me and Gaines had it a little bit here and there at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
you'll
know,
get it
like
at the beginning for sure.
well, I flipped out and lit the guy up, man. Like I didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? So like to me, it's like if you're gonna be the big man, like I'll light you up, and you know
That's
it does happen. I mean, thankfully it doesn't anymore. And like, you know, I more would do it just to, you know, make sure it doesn't happen again. And, you know, when I did it, it didn't happen again. So, you know, thankfully it happened early on when, you know, a lot of people didn't have to see me do that. So
I've always said if you leave a comment. Now I've done comments for my members only, and I'll read them how someone left them. But my thing, and I've read some on Monday night if I want to address something. My feeling is if you're willing to put it out there, then you should have no problem with me reading it.
Oh yeah, that's
if you want to be an asshole, I have no problem. Because once again, I won't lose any sleep. I'm not gonna sleep anyway, so that's beside the point.
Yeah, we used to what it was is actually I gotta say the most deterrent we had was making them jerk of the week. And that really fucking like Tim on Disavowed would get really bad fucking comments. Like he gets them all the time because people are insane, you know. And we just did a couple of weeks of just landing this one troll who we noticed throughout all of our shit and like completely gone. You know what I mean? Because we made him look like a fucking dipshit and, you know, just highlighting him as jerk of the week. And that was the end of it.
You know, and the other thing is if they use their real name, any chat they go to, again, there's a lot of people that are circling the same chats.
Oh yeah,
they're going to get called out
big time.
And again, there's you know, I've discussed with you before we went live, right? There's a lot of people I don't like. A lot of people that don't like me. I don't go on. First off, I don't go on in their live streams because I if I don't like you, I don't want to watch your stuff. I don't. I have other things to do.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
Yeah, I have a lot of other things to do. Now, let's say there's someone that I don't really like, but they were talking about something, and someone's like, "Hey, they were talking about this. Maybe I find it interesting. I'll go there after the stream or whatever, and I'll watch it and just kind of hear what they have to say." Just because I don't like someone doesn't mean they don't always have good points. A lot of times they may have awful points. But I also, if I see someone, like if I see someone that's in your chat that someone on your stream that I don't like, I'm not going to jump in there and start being an asshole.
Yeah.
Or if someone else is in the chat, I'm not going to be an ass because it's your chat. And also, like I said, I have better things to do. I could take a nap before my show.
Yeah.
I have like 5 different streaming services. I can probably find something that I've been wanting to watch.
Yeah.
But I get stuck on the YouTube rabbit hole as we have all gone down.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you guys have a bigger channel than me, a bigger live stream, but I feel like you go through the same stuff that I do.
Yeah. I mean, don't discount. I mean, like how you said you were methodical about putting together a live. I fucking took months to come up with the formula that we have, and it works really well when I have gains to bounce off of. So like I salute you for doing this shit solo. Like I wouldn't want to do this solo, you know what I mean? So it's a little easier for me to have gotten bigger because I have another personality with me all the time. You know what I mean? So
I don't even mean it like that. You have more people watching, and again, that's not but I'm just saying, like we go through the exact same thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I said to people, I'm very self-aware. If I sat here and said, "Oh, I didn't realize that I've become this popular," I'd be lying to you. Like I know that people know who I am. I know it sounds kind of like, do you know who I am? But it's
no,
like
you crank it out, man. You're there. I see you all the time with new videos almost every day to every other day, man. You're a machine.
Yeah, it's funny because 3-star draw, they were talking about it like last night. And they're like, I couldn't do what Punk does for 3 hours. And I'm like, it's easier because I don't have to worry about someone else. I'm not reliant on somebody else.
Well, now, I definitely could see that.
And for me, the chat is easier because I'm reading the chat. Like when I'm doing this, if I'm reading the chat, how can I listen to what you're saying? And then I feel like I'm not paying attention to you and be like, oh, I'm sorry, what did you say? I was reading the chat, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I even said in the stream. I'm like, it's easier to just read the chat when you're alone. One of my things is that I feel like I always have to be entertaining. But I watch I watch Legend series. He's very chill. If he doesn't talk for 10 seconds, no one leaves. And I know no one's going to leave mine. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I have to keep going.
I do the same thing, dude. I'm the same thing. I'm just like, I want to keep this going. I don't want dead space. I want to keep this going. So like that has always been my mantra, but I've lucked out with the people that, I streamed with, that it all worked. Like,
you have great people.
Well, I lucked out. Like, honestly, me and Angelo just kind of knew each other.
I love your story about how you two met. Like,
it's awesome, man. Like, I couldn't ask to have met a better person on YouTube.
I don't even think I told Gaines this. The only reason I'd seen Gaines before, but I had no idea who he was. Yeah. The only reason why I found him was because on my Savage Crucible video, where I got really, really mad about it because it wouldn't stand up. He made a comment and he said, he was like, it's a brand new company. Give them a chance or whatever. Now I wasn't saying I wasn't going to give them a chance, but I was really mad. And I knew people had got a whole bunch of them for free. And I was like, fuck this guy. I want to see if he got it for free.
He got it for free.
And that's how I went and found him. But then I'm like, he was actually pretty honest about it. And I made a comment. And then I don't know if he started populating or whatever. And then, but you guys kind of had a very similar story too. Where, you talked about it, kind of tell everyone quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of bringing it up now.
Yeah. I had managed to procure the Mezco Ghost Rider, which everybody waited like 3 years for. I got a production sample. I could say it now, but back then I couldn't because,
Yeah.
well, I used to be able to get production samples, and that was always like, why aren't I doing YouTube? Why aren't I doing YouTube? Why aren't I doing YouTube? I constantly had all this Marvel shit in front of me because we knew the people who would approve the licenses, and then they would throw the shit away. And I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to go over to the dumpster and take that. So I knew that the Ghost Rider would get me views. So I was like, this is the time to start your YouTube channel that you have been procrastinating about for 6 months. I was like, it will never get better. You will never ask for a better gift to become a reviewer. You have a humongous leg up. So I did it. And production samples do not have instructions. Okay. And Mezco makes very quality items. So the motorcycle has a button on it that makes it light up, makes the sound, makes all that shit. And it's fucking hidden. I don't own Mezco. Okay. I know what they are. I'm not a huge fan of them at that point because I've only ever seen the Marvel and the DC ones come through, and I don't like any of those. Like, I do not have any Marvel DC Mezcos. But anyway, so I do the review. I get a shitload of views, like a shitload. I got like 8,000-9,000 for a guy who just put his channel up that day. You know what I mean? That's like, you're like, holy fuck, what did I just do? And I was a motherfucking asshole about everything. Like, everything in the review was, I can make a better custom than this. This is generic. Like, it's very low effort. I had it before The Amazing, okay? I had it before the Golden Boy. I had it before anybody could even take a photo of the fucking thing. I wake up the next day from putting this video up. I just put it up and walked away. I didn't even look at the numbers. So I wake up in the morning, 7,000 views, like 400 like comments, and 80% of them are angry.
And people,
80% of them are angry that The Amazing didn't get to do it before me.
I just want to say, when you have 100+ comments, and this goes to all the people, you don't realize how many comments that really is,
And
especially when you try and answer them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And especially when you just did this overnight and you have really only about a little smidgeling idea of what you've just done. Mezco, what you've done to The Amazing, and all of, like, the Mezco suck-ups who get everything right away. Like, I fucked everything up. Like, Mezco will never, ever give me anything because I fucked them so bad with that. Because everybody saw it was a piece of shit, and it is. Like, I have it for a Mezco toy. It's a piece of shit. Like, it's absolute low effort, everything. I only kept it because it's my first review. Like, I look at it and I go, yep, that's the one. But anyway, I know I made this huge circle, but anyway.
Okay.
So I'm going through all these comments and I'm just like, what did I do? Like, I should have just eased into this and sat on it. But like, I was like, strike while the iron's hot. Like, The Amazing could have this any day and it won't work. So, but anyway,
it helps.
Yeah, it really helped. Believe me, like, having that thing early, like, boosted me up enough where I was seen just long enough for people to give me a chance. But anyway, I see this guy. I see one little glimmer of hope saying, you guys are just like going way too hard. This is a low effort piece of shit toy. Like, obviously this is a new channel, blah, blah, blah. And I look and it's a guy dressed like Bazooka. And like, Bazooka was like my boy as a G.I. Joe. Like, I love fucking Bazooka as a kid. So seeing this fucking dipshit defend me in this fucking Bazooka thing, I was just like, that's awesome. And then like a couple weeks later, I make a video, I get another comment, and it's Bazooka again, and it's nice, and it's like, oh wow. And then I put out my video the following week, and I was just like, it's Bazooka again. Okay, let's click on this. And then I'm like, holy shit, this guy talks about toys. I've never seen this guy ever before. So I watched a bunch of his videos, and I was like, I like what this guy's doing. I was like, it's fast, it's to the point. Like he's just, just this weird Italian goof bag. So
That he is.
I just kind of remembered, and then I subscribed to him, and then over the course of like 6-7 months, we would watch each other's videos, leave whatever. And then I got to about 3,000 subs, and I was like, nobody knows who the fuck I am. Like, nobody. Like, all they see is just this fucking weird guy screaming at toys and profanity and weird movie clips and odd shit. So I was like, I got to find a way to talk to my audience without changing the way I do videos. Because I don't like, to me, it's more about the toy than me ever on screen or anything like that. So I always just wanted to keep it the hands, and
Okay.
also because I was a filmmaker, I only ever wanted to write and direct. I'm not a person who likes to be on camera at all. Like I'm not an actor. I don't want to act. I don't want to do anything like that. Like I just wanted to write and direct my stories. So like even to get in front of a camera to talk on a camera was like the hardest part. And to be okay hearing your own voice, because it's one thing to hear your voice in your own head every day, blah, blah, blah. But to hear yourself talking on YouTube about stuff, like you get really weird about it. Like, I don't know if you did, but like I've never been conscious about my voice until I went on YouTube and I was like, that's how I sound. I was like, I don't like any of this. So it took me a while to even feel comfortable, like being okay with my own voice and even being in front of a camera. Like I tell my guys like all the time, like the first 60 live streams, I'm nervous. I'm nervous the entire time.
So weird.
Yeah, because I'm not somebody who ever wanted to be on camera. Like it was just movie project after movie project after movie project or TV project that I had to rely on other people to make my art. So when I was like, I'm going to do this toy channel, I can do everything. And the only part that I couldn't do was be the guy talking. You know what I mean? Like that was the only skill I didn't have for this. Like I can light, I could set, I know how to run cameras, I know how to do sound, I know how to do editing. It was just being able to talk and be on camera. So like that was that was the hardest part of all of this shit, was just to get used to it. And even like sometimes I'll go back and check a live stream because I like, Gain sounded like his sound was out, and was that just happening while we were, was it my computer doing it, whatever. And when I go back and listen, I still am like, oh.
See, there's a YouTuber that I watch, Nick Nimmin, and someone asked him that question, and they said, "How do you get over if you don't like your voice or how you look?" And he said, "Just understand that when you talk, when you do a video, what you hear and what you see is what everyone sees every day. So even though it seems weird to you, it's not weird to everyone else. It's and again, you and I want to talk about what you do for a living or what you're filmmaking and everything. But
yeah,
and I was already doing this, and I think I got over that pretty, because I don't like my voice either. But admittedly, I will watch my videos and go 30 seconds, hit that like, just I only do it because unlike Facebook, which tells you, like, I hate when I see someone like their own picture on Facebook. Like, no shit, asshole, you fucking posted it. Of course you liked it. You don't have to like it. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook should remove that. Same with Instagram. All right?
Yeah.
You don't
I
have to
never
like your
do
own
it.
stuff.
I never do it. I would feel too weird to like my own
But
stuff.
here,
Like,
no one knows that you did
yeah,
it.
I don't care
Right?
about like, yeah, when I post my live stream, I'm the first thumbs up. Like, you know,
But
I gotta let the
I don't.
algorithm know.
Yeah, I go back and I listen if I go back and listen if somebody comments about something, or you probably get this when someone makes a comment on a video from a year and a half or 2 years ago, and you're like, you really think I'm gonna remember what I said? And
I
then
love
you go,
that.
and mine are like a half hour long, and I'm like, I am not.
Yeah, I
As
can't
I'm
remember all that. Yeah.
like,
I had that twice today. It's funny that you said that. Like, I had 2 comments on old videos where I'm like, I have to go back and watch that fucking thing to answer your question, dude. Like, I've done like 100 since then.
and sometimes that's when you find you go, oh my god, that was bad. And
Mhm.
other times you're like, damn, that's a pretty good figure. I need to start messing around with it again.
Yeah. I always have to watch my videos no matter what, just to make sure that I've edited them properly and that the sound is balanced.
Yeah,
You
see,
know, so I always have to no matter what. So
I
I got
watch
used to it. I got used to it after
I
a while.
watch points because again, mine's an all in one take,
Yeah.
so I don't have to. I
Yeah,
watch
exactly.
the two. At all my takes
Yeah.
where something changes, I don't have to watch the whole thing. I need to make sure it's not in slow motion and it's not upside down, which is
Yeah.
so. All right, back away from this. So we have a little bit more time here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you graduate high school? Do you
Yeah.
mind me asking? Okay,
Yeah,
you graduated high school.
absolutely.
What did you go on to do? Because you said you got into filmmaking, and I do want to get to
Okay.
that point.
Okay. First, it was not filmmaking, it was making an animated series. So I was
Okay.
into doing animation at first. So that has always kind of been on my back burner because I still do it to this day.
All right.
And but basically I enrolled in film school at Full Sail University in Florida. And I went for about a week and realized that I had learned more on my own than they could ever teach me. So
That is that the same thing that Legend series says? Like I
it
learned
really is. Like if you read any kind of, there's like 4 books on filmmaking that you need, and if you can't use those 4 books to become a filmmaker, you're terrible. Like, like for real. There's one on like operation of camera and placing, and then there's one on like, like writing and some other shit. But like, it's all in like the title of director and producer are so fucking loose in that industry that like a director could be a writer, a director could also be a storyboarder and a camera operator and a whole lot of other things, or a director could just be a lazy guy who barely knows the script, who sits in a fucking chair and does nothing. You know what I mean? So there are some broad terms with that one, but basically I had met a hedge fund. Well, okay, I'll slow down first. So I decided to do animation. I decided that I wanted to do film as well. So when I got back from college, when I left, I took a chunk of my tuition money and disappeared to Europe for about a couple of months and really thought about what I wanted to focus on and what I was to do when I got back. And
did you go by yourself or
I went with 2 friends, but we kind
okay.
of split off and met back up and shit. Like I did a whole sleep on trains and live in the hostels for a couple of months. So
Okay.
just because I was like, I need to see the world before I sit down and do anything else. And at the time, I had saved all my money for college. So I would have been able to pay for my college. Like in cash. So I took some of that money. And then basically when I got back, I had an idea for a television show. I had an idea for a couple of movies. And then I trained myself how to write, which took about a year or two. Because there is a craft to writing. There's structure, there's character, there's all these things. So, I just spent time working on scripts and different things. And I developed a cartoon. And during this time period, I got a job at a local comic book store. So I just continued to work there because I was like, I can't have a real job because I need to be able to just at the drop of a dime, when I'm ready to make my movie. You know what I mean? Like, so I lucked out. I worked at a comic book store and I met a hedge fund manager from New York City who really liked my cartoon pilot. So
which is
basically it's if you're a channel member, a pilot for a cartoon is on my member stuff. And that is the newest version of that, but it was about like janitors at a mall, and it was, like an Aqua Teen Hunger Force kind of thing. Like it was an adult, funny cartoon. So, and South Park was really big at the time. So the guy was like, "Oh, I'll sell this as South Park, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "What do you need to make a pilot?" And I said, "Well, I need all this computer equipment. And I need you to pay these two people to animate it." And he's like, "Well, I'll buy all the equipment." And he's like, "If you hit all these goals, I'll pay your animators," and blah, blah, blah. So we made a pilot over the course of a fucking year. The guy 100% lied about everything. He stole money from his hedge fund and hid it in the investment that was my cartoon. Ouch. And he fucked me up for a couple of years with that. So after that, I was very weary of what I was doing because he tried to hamstring me and steal everything and sell it to Cartoon Network while I was trying to sell it to Cartoon Network. And he completely ruined my Cartoon Network deal. So I almost sold that show once. Okay. And then I'd made a bunch of short films that went into festivals, did okay. I, did all right with that shit. And then, movie business is really, and making movies and making shows takes forever when you have no budget. So now I'm 29 and, I was just like, nothing's working. So I kept trying to make movies. They just kept falling through. And then around 2018, 19, Amazon opens Amazon Studios. And if you knew anything about what was going on at that time, they were taking open submissions, which means you don't need an agent. You don't need anything, nothing. I took my own personal money and paid an animator to make me a pilot that I wrote and drew every fucking frame for. I designed every character, every fucking background, everything. We send it into Amazon and I don't hear anything for 3 months. So I contact them and they're like, "Yeah, we fucking love this. Like, just wait until the contest is over in 3 months. And, like you're going to need an agent. You're going to need all this, blah, blah, blah." They gave me a preemptive deal, which I got a little bit of money for, and they sat on it and did nothing with it. And then the rights reverted back to me. And in the meantime, like I made a couple short films. One of them ended up on, I think it was Shredder or Sutter TV or something. It made it onto a
Shutter TV.
Yeah.
I know the name, but I don't think I've ever once watched it.
Yeah, I had a horror short on that, and then
Okay.
bloodydisgusting.com had a thing where they made a movie called The World of Death, which was like an anthology of horror shorts, and I got onto that. So that's like pretty much my only like published stuff right now. So besides the cartoon that like, has punched me in the dick twice. So,
And it sounds like, I mean, I've heard you talk about it before. It sounds like you were very proud of this.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And we're making another one really soon. I mean, the guy actually turned everybody into 3D characters. So now it looks
Oh,
like
wow.
Pixar shit. So, but we'll see what's happening with it. Like I take it slow because I'm happy doing this. Like this fulfills the artistic, outlet that I need in my life.
Yeah.
Like I always need to be doing something fun and creative. And I just gave up on movies because of, DEI and, all the things that ruined, entertainment over the last like 6-7 years, So I completely lost hope. And that's why I was like, I'm going to YouTube. I'm just going to have fun and do my thing. You know what I mean? So, oh, I know it's popular. And I know the thing was on Bloody Disgusting and it ran on like the rights for it. I don't own it anymore. And I never got paid a nickel for it, but it has been on like multiple platforms. It's just, I know it's on a Blu-ray for World of Death Volume 1. I couldn't tell you where else it is. So,
So while you're doing this, like you are married, correct?
yeah. Oh, I've been married for 25 years. I think it's 25 or 24 because we were dating for a long time. So
Okay.
yes, I've been
So
married long
so
time.
how did you meet? And like how did you guys meet? I
Oh,
mean,
okay. It's a funny
I
one.
I love this. Like this is the people like this stuff.
Yeah, if people ask, I'll tell it. I have no problems, but I would say we went to high school together, but we loosely knew each other. And she was always just this goofy, weird, super high energy girl who dressed like a maniac. And I never even thought like, like ever. And then it turns out she leaves high school at 16 to become a fucking fashion model. So my wife at the time just disappeared off the face of the earth. And I just, went about my life, did my thing. And I was at a Blockbuster Video like later on, like way later on, like when I'm 2021. And I'm looking for a movie and I see her standing there and she's like, well, what do you think of this movie? And I'm like, oh, I know a whole lot about movies. So, we sparked a conversation. We went out for coffee. We started dating and that's that. I met her at a fucking Blockbuster Video, man.
Which are no longer. So
Yeah,
no
I
more love
know.
stories like that anymore.
Yeah, but fitting for me because I love movies and shit. Like it was just funny to meet her there because she had been all over the world. She'd been in Paris, London, Milan, all this shit, and she was just home on break for a little while, and I just happened to meet her.
Let's run into her.
Yep, and then the rest is history, buddy.
So you meet her. Now you're into movies. Now, do you collect movies?
Yes, I am a cinephile. I have a gigantic movie collection.
Because are you collecting toys now at this time? Or are you just-
Yeah, I pretty much there was a very small gap. Here's the thing. So I stopped playing with G.I. Joes, 11, 12, somewhere in there. But McFarlane came out with his toys, the Spawn figures, when I was like 14. And I had been reading comics. Spawn was exciting. And I was like, this is not a toy. This is a cool little fucking statue that I could just put on my desk and nobody's going to give me shit because it doesn't look like a G.I. Joe or a He-Man toy. It looks like a fucking badass new Spawn figure.
I have my original Spawn right over there.
Yep. I do too.
The
And that,
original, and I have Hamburger Head actually
Mhm.
in the plastic,
I do
which is
too,
worth
dude.
no money, but
Yep.
I'm scared to open it up because I might have to go to the hospital.
Oh yeah,
and my hands be-
there's the Wuhan virus inside that clamshell. Yeah, you're gonna smell a little bit of 1990s China in there.
and once your hand gets exposed from all the cuts and
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Just get shredded by them. So
so you pretty much have always been collecting.
yes, I
Okay.
was very lightly Spawn until about NECA started doing their own version of Movie Maniacs because
All right.
it went McFarlane. And then when he made Movie Maniacs, I was like huge in the movies. So like those were musts because they didn't look like toys. They look like little statues. So I wouldn't get any shit from my friends.
Isn't it
They'd be like,
crazy?
they would be like, oh my God, look at Leatherface covered in blood. That's fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
But now it's like no big deal. You collect toys, no one cares because every football player and basketball player does too.
It's true. But you know, when you
I know.
when you
Oh, I
bring
know.
somebody into a room like this, they're like, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, again, as someone who's been single for 10 years,
Mhm.
you tell people you collect toys, and girls will be like, "Oh, that's cool." And it's like, no, I mean, I collect toys. Yeah, I think that's really cool. It's like, we'll see.
You don't understand.
I do
You
a
know what
whole
the
show.
USS flag is, lady?
I have 8 shipwrecks.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
So you collect all the how do you now movies is one thing,
Mhm.
comics are another thing. How do you let her know that you are an avid toy collector, or does she not care? You said she's very eccentric, right?
Oh, she didn't care at all. She
Okay.
was like, when she saw my graphic novel collection, she was like, "Oh, Sandman, I heard about that. I want to read it." So, like, she was
Okay.
like, she just thought it was neat that I, you know, had a fun hobby, you know. So she never really cared, and I always pulled back on my hobbies, like when we needed money. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't like my hobby like was never overblown until like I, you know, until we were financially secure to the point where, you know, it's like it doesn't matter anymore. Like we have the house is ours. We're good. Like, you know, so
So I'm gonna give this to you for your next movie. You need to do a movie about when you meet her and show her the toys, and you need to say, and one day I'm gonna have a very successful toy tube channel live stream, even though there's no YouTube or anything.
I will tell you,
Little jerk there, like one
Yeah.
day I'm gonna have this very
Yeah.
successful YouTube channel.
I never thought about it ever, dude. I didn't even know there were people who talked about toys online until like maybe 2000 like 18. That's about it for me. I don't go back that far because I was just like, I didn't even know. I was just like, you know, I've been a solitary collector. Like, I don't have a friend who collects
Yeah.
like me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody, you know, besides customers at the store. You know what I mean? Besides that. And, you know, they're customers. They're not like my friends. So, you know.
Okay, first off, John, no, I am 2 years away from the end of child support. The last thing I want to do at 49 is start all over. Love you, Liv. I'm 2 years away. Hell no. If I knocked a girl up right now, I'd be in the fetal position for the next 20 years. I just rock back and forth. I was going to say something, but I have no idea what I was going to say now. I don't know what the fuck we were talking about.
We were, yeah, you lost me too with that one, but I think we were talking about me. Yeah.
But
your movie.
yeah, like, I know for me, like, I didn't start trying to make videos to like review stuff. I was just like, I started buying those Walmart G.I. Joes, and I was like, hey, I have the original. Let me just compare them. And then when the classified came out, I was like, I don't see anyone comparing them. I'm going to review them. Now, it was awful because I'm standing behind my bar. I didn't know anything about editing. You'll see me walk into frame. I'm as far away as possible. If anyone goes back and watches them, they're probably like, "How did you expect me to see that?"
Got to start somewhere.
And that's why I leave it there, because I don't want, again, not that I do great videos or anything, but I want people to realize like we all started from somewhere. It's not always great, but you continue to do it. And I wanted to bring this up here. I highlighted this because of Rowdy. If you're still watching, earlier she said, I like all my videos. I asked people if they wanted me to take out the intros and outros with my face, and they said no. Rip me. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because when I did start doing reviews, I wanted to have my face out there because I wanted there to be a connection. There's a lot of, and you said you didn't want that. You don't like being,
Well, at the time,
Yeah.
I didn't like. I wasn't comfortable enough,
and I was always like, because I listen to a lot of radio, and even though you don't see the radio, I see them on on the Sports Center and different things like that, right? And you get this you have a connection with them. So I was like, I'm going to be on at the beginning and at the end, and that was when I started to try and actually make videos, not just like just to review this because no one else is. Like, I didn't know there was, and like you said, I didn't know there was an industry of people. I just knew no one compared the original. I can't believe people haven't figured it out. I mean, I know there's a few other people, but it's like I'm really the only bigger toy tuber that compares the original O-ring to the. I'm like, I can't believe no one else has figured that out. Like,
no, but that's the beautiful thing. It's just finding your way. You know what I mean? Is just the beginning of it all. And I tell anybody who's doing this that like, just make the shit instead of worrying about it. You know what I mean? Like, just go out there and do it, because you're gonna just constantly get in your own way, so because it took me 6 months. Like, I could have had shit, like I said, like that Ghost Rider, like I could have had everything during that time period Marvel, and I could have done reviews on all the shit and blown myself up, but it isn't the right way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, there are right ways and wrong ways of doing all this.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Because there's not one way to do it.
No.
But there are wrong ways and there are right ways. And I'll say, if you are a drama channel, it's the wrong way. No, maybe it works for you. I think it's completely wrong.
Yeah, but you're painting yourself into a corner. So.
Yeah. I don't think there's one way to do it, but there are times I see people and I'm like, dude, that's just the wrong way.
Yeah, I see it too, but mainly I'll see it once and just be done with it. I'm just like, meh, you know what I mean? And the more and more you have to get involved with your own shit, the less and less time you have to watch other shit. So, like now it's like I only watch a handful of people because I only have so much time now, So,
right, so this is crazy. MCR says, according to Social Blade, the channel was created on December 8th, 2006. Punk's 20-year-old anniversary is coming. So if it's just so you guys know, as long as like when you create a login, you create a channel. And so I've had a channel technically that long, but it didn't even have a name.
Original channel, and then you just changed it over to a real channel.
Yeah.
Like,
now what's funny is that on Social Blade, what Social Blade has changed, when you change your name, even though it still tells you statistics, it doesn't tell you statistics past then.
Really?
Yeah, I found that out by looking at it, because I was looking at mine, because I changed mine from Punk Rock Skate Dad, because that's my like personal Instagram and everything. Yeah. And I had an idea. I'm like, I'm gonna put everything I do. I'm gonna put my skateboarding on, and then when you start getting more into like toys, you realize like no one, like everyone every now and then likes to see my skateboarding. But if I put my skateboarding on all the time, people are gonna be like, I like toys. Why? I don't want to watch this. Or people find me skateboarding, they're like, I don't give a shit about these toys. So every time you change it, it kind of resets, but it still tells you how long you've had the channel. It's really odd.
Yeah, but that's even like mine. I think I got the name like a year to 6 months before I even started, But I left my personal YouTube alone. Like, I don't even use it anymore, but I did have like an account that's been around since like 2006.
I went and I just started another YouTube channel. There's nothing on it other than like personal videos, and I just have them all set to private.
Yeah.
So they don't all get stuck on my phone, and then Apple keeps telling me that you're almost out of storage. You want to buy more? I'm like, no, I'm just going to load it on YouTube.
Yeah, because you have unlimited space on YouTube.
Exactly.
It's true.
So let me ask you this. Why Mondays and Thursdays did you say, I want to take that punk down? This is when we're going to go live.
I love this one. Honestly, it was more or less just the days that would I felt like I don't want to choke people with 3 days a week of me. So I tried to spread it out the best I could with staying away from the bigger live streamers that I knew at the time.
Oh, that's a slap.
Which
in the
was
face.
like Chad.
That's a slap in the face.
Yeah. Well, it's true though.
No, I know, I get it.
Yeah, but like to me, I was like, Chad had a lot of traffic, and so did 3POA. And I was like, well, if I could sandwich myself either before or after those days, it might work. And then later on, Legend Series was like, dude, you parked all over punks and time spots. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that guy, I was like, he hates me already. I was like, he probably hates me even more now.
I have always said,
do
I want other toy channels to go on Mondays and Thursdays when I'm on? No, because I want people to watch me.
Of course.
But if I've told people, I go, if you want to go live and you're like, the only day that works for me is 9 p.m. Monday, then you do it.
Yeah.
Because my job will never, ever be to make you not want to watch Jerk and Gains. Right? My job is to make you want to come and watch me. Now, if that means at 9 o'clock, you're like, hey, I'm going to go tune in over there because I really like him and I'm going to go back and watch theirs. Or you're like, I watch their lives. And as soon as they're done, I'm going to jump over because you still do another 8 hours. And then I'll finish. Like my job is never to try and make someone not watch someone else's. It's I want you to watch mine, not by discouraging someone else. That's like the worst thing that people can do. And I know a lot of people try and do it. It's something that I'll never understand. Like you're putting your energy into stopping someone from watching something else rather than going, where can I put the energy into my stuff to be better, right? So it was just odd. But the thing that made me laugh more than anything was Monday Night Raw and Nitro and Thursday SmackDown and Thunder. And I'm like, we have the same days. Nitro went on early because they wanted to take I'm like, again, it never bothered me. And that's why I jump into your chat. Like that's why I don't jump in long because I need to take that nap.
Well, yeah, I know how it is. I do it
so bad. Like,
no, I dunk into everybody's and say hello. And then, you know, it's for support. You know what I mean? Like any support I could give anybody, I'll do it. So, and then on top of that, it reminds me to hit the replay on the things that I want to watch or listen to while I'm in the car because I have commuting. So that's when I do my live streams is when I'm in the car. I don't watch them. I listen to them. So
you don't have to. And I've said before, not that I started off like this, but as I built the live stream Mondays more than anything, I built it so it's meant to be rewatched. The way I do things, the way I do the opening of it, the way I go into my the toy talk, and then in the topic, like it's meant so you can just listen to it if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone wants to listen to my voice, but thank you for doing so. And Thursday was always meant to be an evergreen thing. Oh my God, who's this jerk? I don't know. Like you're watching them, and then you're like, oh, he did a whole interview to find out about him, or Gaines, or Woody, Tony, whoever. That's what like this whole show was supposed to be. Not to talk again. I can only talk about toys so much, to be 100% honest.
Well, yeah, of course.
Eventually, you're like, for the love of fucking God, for the past 7 days, we've heard about the exact same GI Joe bullshit that's going on. And I feel bad because all my friends are GI Joe guys. And you're like, sorry guys, like I just talked about it for 4 hours.
Yeah. That's why, honestly, like when we do my show, like I don't care if we stray away from toys because we'll get back to it, but like this isn't always about just toys. It's about everything. It's about life. If you had a shitty day or if I have a funny story to tell you to make you feel better, but we'll get back to the toys, So I like when it strays away and then comes back. So,
and that's what I've told this guy here, the Tuesday show that we're doing. Sometimes he'll be like, hey, okay, let's get back on. And I'm like, dude, people are watching, people are enjoying the banter. Because there are a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of channels that there's banter, but people don't like it.
Yeah.
And I know how you guys are, and people like it. And the other good thing is, it's like it's always you and games, but like on Monday you have different people, and then you always have a couple different people on Thursday, right? And again, you guys have a good rapport with each other.
I try to
loud.
And I try to cycle people through too. So I always try to keep Monday as eclectic and just crazy as possible, and then Thursday is actually like we'll do the toy news, then we'll go through all of our little things. Like Thursday has more of a format, and Monday, like we call it raw because it's like we don't talk beforehand, we just go live, and whatever happens, it happens. So that Mondays are stressful. Mondays are stressful. Like
really?
For the first 10 minutes, I'm like, because I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm just like, whatever, we're just gonna go, so there's excitement just doing it that way too sometimes. So
and then Toy Optics, who's also part of our Tuesday show, he says people want to feel like they're part of the conversation, and I've been saying that forever. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't pay attention to they don't pay attention to what's going on, and people tune them out. Now you said like you guys go raw. This is, let's see if I have the right notebook. I got 2 different notebooks for 2 different shows here. So this is what I do about 15 minutes before I start writing down what I'm going to talk about for about the first 45 minutes to an hour.
No, that's
good.
But
I wait to the last 15, I wait to about 15 minutes before. I wake up and I start writing stuff down, just little highlights. So I know what I'm going to hit, but I always try and wait because who knows what's going to break. Like, again, we're not really talking toys today, but Super 7 has announced that they're going to raise their prices 8%. Like, motherfuckers, I thought you were already paying. I think people are already paying a tariff tax with your shitty prices and shitty products.
Yeah.
And you're going to raise it? Why don't you just close the doors now?
Yep. Good luck. I'm glad those new investors are going to fucking hate you. That $20 million influx is probably fucking gone already anyway. So,
yeah. Random says, man, I hate not knowing what you're going to do on a live stream. Again, it all depends. I mean, I think when you have, like, if I do that, if I just on Mondays, and that's what I used to do, it gets stale, right? You kind of have to have some sort of format. When you have multiple people, like you said, you have the banter, you're bouncing stuff back and forth, and you can allow that conversation to go somewhere, and you can also allow the chat to kind of dictate where it might want to go.
100%.
But when you don't do that, if you're alone and you just kind of
you're fucked.
Go off alone. Sometimes you go off alone and you're talking to 5 people. And I said to Matthew, and I don't know how you feel about this. I said to Matthew when I started, I go, is it wrong that I don't want to be talking to 15 people in 2 years or a year? And he said, not at all.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I want to be, it's not like I'm looking to be huge, but more voices make it more entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. That was why I did the 3 people podcast always, like, because I knew that it wouldn't get stale, you know what I mean? But I also knew the 2 guys I was going to talk to both were motor mouths. So, you know what I mean? Like I knew, like me and Gaines sat down on a Sunday just like before we started streaming, just to have a chat. And it was supposed to be like a 15-minute chat that turned into like a 3.5-hour talk. And I was like, fuck, we should have just live streamed that. It was so good. So I knew going into the first show that I had somebody that I wouldn't have to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, this guy could just talk by himself for hours. You know what I mean? And you know, with Tim was an announcer for baseball for like years before he did YouTube. So he knows how to talk too. So, you know, like I just knew it would work. So
Pop Leonard jumping in here saying Yojo Jerk seems like the kind of dude I could have a long chat with about film. Yeah, you could. His personality reminds me of a couple of guys I played music with, and I'm a drummer, so we get along famously.
more than likely, I love drummers. Most valuable fucking people
you
in a
can never
band.
find.
Yes.
Even as a non-musician, I know how valuable the drummer is. Oh, a
Mhm.
bassist. Everyone can fucking play a bass. No offense, but it's like
Mhm.
they're the easiest ones to find.
Yes, it's the drummer that is. It's the guy who has a full kit and can play. Yeah.
So I know you said you only wanted an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now we're a little over 2 hours.
We could go a bit longer. It's fine.
I told you it's how everything dictates. But
Fine.
where do you see your channel, and where do you want your channel to go?
Honestly, I just want to keep going the way I'm going. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like I do all right enough with the amount of views and channel memberships and stuff where I've been able to back off a little bit more of work because of my situation. Like I own my house now. I don't have a mortgage.
Okay.
And, you know, like all my vehicles are paid for, and you know, we're fine, you know, like there's not many needs left for us where I can back off my work and try to make this a little bit more something bigger. So
Yeah.
I just want to just keep on the trajectory. I want to keep reviewing the things that I like. I just want to talk about the things I like, and I've been having fun. So when it gets stale, I'll disappear, but I don't think it's going to, honestly. Like, you know, I have the skills and ability to make a channel that would get 100,000 views if I just did something else. But my heart isn't in that. My heart's in this. But I could easily just go make a movie channel and just shit on movies. I could easily just sit around and make, you know, dumb murder mystery videos with AI and get triple the amount of views and money, but it wouldn't fulfill me. You know what I mean? Like I have fun talking and meeting new people. I have fun doing my stupid fucking reviews. And like I said, artistically, it makes me happy. So, you know, and honestly, when anybody will be receptive to your art, like I couldn't ask for any better. You know what I mean? Like having like I know like in the grand scheme of YouTube, 6,000 subs is not a lot, but when you think about seeing 6,000 people in front of you who want what you're giving them,
Yes.
it's a different thing, and it gives you a drive to continue. You know what I mean? So like I'm grateful for every motherfucker who subscribes to me and watches my dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like and lets me be me. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to be a fucking shill. I don't have to, you know, chase fucking drama. I don't need to do any of it. You know what I mean? I get to just be me and do the things that I like to do, and people are receptive. So I couldn't ask for any better.
No, and I mean, you said everything that I feel like I've said, just you said it more elegantly than I do. But I feel the same way. Like I've watched more than enough about growing a channel on YouTube in general.
Oh yeah.
And I would tell people that are doing ToyTube, like, hey, why don't you try? I don't care about. I'm like, and then you see them start like realize. I'm like, it's not about growing your channel. It's about being better to your audience But when you're better to your audience and you give them better stuff, then more people start to like you. It's the byproduct. This is what I've said about like lifting weights, right? Like you lift weights, and the byproduct of getting stronger is you get bigger. I think if you talk to most bodybuilders, they'd be like, I wish I could get this big off 25 pounds, but it doesn't work like that. So you have that byproduct. And I feel the same way. Like I've watched more than enough that I feel like if I really wanted to, I could create a movie channel and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Editing is not hard, even though I don't know how to do it really.
It's
I've
not.
never sat
It's
down
not.
and done it. I've seen some of the people that can edit stuff. And not to sound like that dick, I don't care. I'm gonna sound like a dick. I'm smarter than some of those people. I can already tell.
It's not rocket science either. It's just sitting down, watching a couple of videos on trying to figure out what you want to do with the program. It really is. It is.
And what you said is it's that love. Now, I would love to do a skateboarding channel, but that is so difficult on the knees and for me to skateboard and even to like, and
how many years could you do it before you fuck yourself up or hurt yourself by accident?
But even like getting with people, filming them, where toys, it's like I can lock myself in my own room. I can
tripod, camera, light.
Exactly.
Microphone.
Back here, this is where I do all my reviews because I don't have like I don't have a studio.
Right there. It's right next to me.
And I wish it was bigger. I wish I didn't have to use my phone for everything. I wish I didn't have to use my phone for everything, but I do.
I shoot everything on my phone. I do not use a fancy camera. I don't do anything. I shoot with a specific kind of cell phone, and then I put it into editing software. But
like what I hate about it, and I've told people, is like I do in front of the camera, and then I open it, and then I go back in front of the camera. So I'm always moving it back, I do these classic O-ring reviews. Well, I don't have to show people opening, and I know how they play. I've had them. So I'll film 6, 7, 10 videos, the opening and editing, change my shirt, do another one, change my and then I go back and I do the review because that's how editing really is, right? That's how, like, Lord of the Rings.
It doesn't have to be linear. You know,
Lord of the Rings. I was watching a thing, and it was after the movies came out, and they filmed all 3 of them together, and they said that last scene where they're going away, Sir Ian McKellen he said that was the first time I had met them. The first time I had met those little hobbits, and that's why we all look kind of confused because we didn't know each other.
Yep, that's the power of editing. Seriously, like I do everything linear though. Like when I record, it's just no. But
that's what I do with my regular reviews. But like,
there's plenty of times where I screwed up the beginning, and I'm like, "Whoa, I screwed up my whole intro so bad. I'm gonna go back 4 videos and steal that intro, put it into this new video, and nobody's gonna fucking notice." There's plenty of times I've done it, and nobody fucking ever calls me on it. So I even wanted to see if people would catch me doing it, and I did 2 in a row, and nobody called me.
Okay, so I did a video, I did a review. I'll say it, I don't care. It was the review of the Valaverse Swiffer ghillie suit. Okay, so I did it, and I made a mistake, and that was I did not take the suit. I didn't take the plate carrier off and put it on him. And I was saying something about how if you need the fucking instruction on how to put this on, you're an idiot. Well, I don't cut anything. And then some motherfucker goes, "Yeah, I see how you cut that." I'm like, "You motherfucker." No one else fucking noticed it.
Oh, the one time you cut
one fucking time.
Oh, that's such bullshit.
And that's all on me. Doesn't change the fact that ghillie suit is a Swiffer. I don't care. That is a duster.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of any of the ghillie suits from any company.
I'll say this. I did a video where I took the Gridiron, G.I. Joe 1 and Valaverse all out into the real world, and they all had their merit of some of them worked in certain brush and some didn't. Overall, I think the gridiron one worked the best, but they all had their good night. Love you.
I love you.
That's my daughter.
You should know it is.
That's her attitude.
2 more years and then you're free.
2 more years.
I'm so happy I just suppressed my burp.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
But no, yeah, I try not to, but I mean, I was like, you motherfucker. And this was a guy that was not happy with me, you know, and I'm like, no one else, I'm not saying no one else caught it. And if I would have been a regular person that just edits all of them, but I didn't say, I was like, you motherfucker. Like I'm like, damn it. Someone caught me.
Son of a bitch.
I still stand by what I said. If you need the instructions, you're an idiot. Clearly, I'm an idiot. So.
Yeah. I love making mistakes on purpose to get people to comment. Like I'll purposely call like magazines clips and I'll do that shit. And there's a certain crowd of guys that will just flip out on you. And and
I know.
Yeah.
You say clip, and man, now
Mhm.
I've had many military people that are like, hey, just so you know, that's a magazine. There's people that will correct you that are just, they're trying to correct you because you're like, hey, if I made a mistake, let me know. And then there's people that are correct you because they're assholes about it. Now, with all that said, I went back and I watched a video on what the difference is between a magazine and a clip. And there is a distinct difference. So I no longer make that mistake. But
I was doing it a lot at the beginning just because I didn't know any better.
I did too.
Gun. I don't like guns. I'm not a gun guy. I got shot by a gun. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a fuck. You know, but yeah. I then you know I noticed that when I would do it on purpose that I would get the engagement. So
Yes.
So here and there I'll just do it on purpose just because I think it's funny now.
Called the shovel on Duke's backpack a shovel and watch people correct you. It's an entrenching tool. No, it looks like a goddamn shovel.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you shovel?
It's a mini shovel. It's a goddamn mini shovel.
Do you shovel with it? Yes, then that's exactly.
It's a shovel. Does it pick up and move dirt to another pile? Yes, it's a shovel.
There's a skateboarder. He has the him and a couple other guys. They have the largest skateboarding YouTube channel. He's a professional skateboarder, and he said I like every now and then to put my truck on backwards. So if you put your trucks on backwards, your board will not roll.
Oh, I know.
Okay. And he goes, I love to put it on backwards, like in an Instagram clip, and see how many people will tell me that I have my trucks on backwards. Like, dude, I'm a fucking professional skateboarder. You don't think I'm not going to realize that? But he goes, every now and then, I just like to throw it in there and then watch people start like correcting me. Like, dude, you have your trucks on the wrong way. Like, no shit, dude.
Oh, somebody wants to hear my being shot story. Just rewind like an hour. It's here.
Yeah.
So yes, I got shot with a BB gun. Just you'll see it later.
It's a pretty long, drawn out story, Pop. So go back or have him on as a guest. How about that? Then you can ask him.
There you go.
You and Matthew can have him on. He does a show with my moderator. Both my moderators decided to do shows on Tuesday, and they overlap each other.
It's like a war.
Like really? Like one starts at 9 and the other one starts at 10.
Oh, well, like me and you were saying, it's when you have the time, you know, it's when you can do it.
It kind of works out because then when I'm here, I can be like, hey, I can hit both channels at the same time.
Or they should just team up and do it together. You know, if they're on the same night, just team up. You know,
well, they both have different guests. But I told the guy, like when we started doing a show on Tuesday, because we do it at 6:30. I said, I'm like, I'll do it at 6:30. I go, I don't know how long you guys want to go, but I'm not going past 9. We finish up around 8, a little after 8 now. I go, I'm not going up against my moderators because It's just
Yeah,
not
you don't
cool.
want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys come in, they work for free.
Exactly. They stay the whole time. They do everything. Yeah, I know. Like I know how it is. Believe me. Like
You know, but yeah. So I guess I want to ask one last thing,
sure.
and I'll let you go. Is there any specific lines that you are fully all in on?
I am. It really is G.I. Joe, and they've only made one thing that I haven't bought so far. So I
And that
don't like
is
the outhouse. I fucking hate the
really.
outhouse. Yeah, my guy could have got it for me like 2 months ago, and I was just like, it doesn't do anything for me. So maybe I have to see it in hand because I also didn't get the Twilight Vibe or the Twilight Crimson Guard at 2-pack.
That's
And then I ended up really liking it. So I
okay.
passed on it, didn't do it, and then it was available through my distributor, and I was like, fuck it, I'll get it. And then it ended up being one of my favorite sets.
So okay, so everyone wanted the Twilight Guard.
Mhm.
What did you think of the
Steel
the
Brigade.
yeah, well, not Steel Brigade, the one
Yeah,
for
but
that.
yeah.
The Steel Core, that's it.
Nah,
What do you
I've never been big on them to begin with, so and I don't like the originals because I don't like the bodies they're built on. So
that one was completely different. Like
he
it was
is. He's a beefier buck. So
and I was shocked because I was like, because I'm not a big Steel Brigade,
yeah.
Steel Core fan. For some odd reason, it was one of those ones as a kid that I didn't ask my dad to like mail away. Like I never even got one. And
Yeah, they weren't.
I had flag
terribly
points.
exciting.
Believe me, I had flag points to get it.
Yeah.
But I was really shocked at how much better the buck was. So I'm like, they changed stuff.
Yeah,
They got rid of all the older bucks.
yeah.
So,
I mean, it's a better figure for sure, but just the first two were like my least favorite before that. So I was like,
yeah.
you know, because the Lady J buck needs to be retired, and you know, the other body was like mostly original Beachhead, if I remember, and I fucking
That's what the original one, I believe, was fully Beachhead.
yeah, and I hate those Beachhead legs, and like I wasn't a fan. So well, I love Beachhead. I just don't like that he didn't stand on the shelf good.
Well, yeah, these
yeah, how the knees
shin guards.
Well, it's more the knee can buckle forward, and it's the only one that can do that, and
Oh,
it
really?
just drove me insane. Like you could kind of push it a little further forward. I'm talking the Viper Island one, or
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, or the Cobra Island one. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Not Viper Island. Don't say fucking Viper Island.
But I don't even know that guy's still around. So
He is. No,
well, good for him.
It's the shin guard. I don't really care that they have shin
well,
guard.
It's off. Like it's off.
It gets in the way of pushing it forward,
Mhm.
so it makes them harder to stand. They pretty much have to stand straight up.
Yeah. Well, I like the retro one. Like they like
I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I love that one. So it was a worthy replacement, totally. And I didn't want to replace it because that Beachhead was a motherfucker to get originally. Like all those Cobra Island original ones were the worst.
I walked into Target and there was one sitting there.
Oh, you left
the next week, and it was noon. The next week, so I don't remember the order. It was either they were 1 week apart. 1 week I walked in about noon. Beachhead was sitting there. The next week, or maybe it was the week before, I had walked in. The Cobra Trooper was just sitting there. Just nothing else.
Man.
And I was like, these things aren't that hard to find. And again, I wasn't really into the YouTube. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Come to find out, they were much harder.
You lucked out, dude. I would just sit there and refresh on my Target thing. I was using Pop Finder, anything to find those. Because, like, those were the ones that came out when I was like, okay, now I'm liking this line a lot. Like that,
Yeah.
still that fucking Major Blood is still like, I mean, he's always on my fucking desk. I love
He's
this
so
figure.
good.
Yeah, so
That
like,
face sculpt is really good.
yeah, I'm happy they didn't change it. Like, I'm happy like that they're just changing the underbody. So, you know, because this is another one where I don't like the legs. Like,
Nope.
there's something on his legs that aren't right.
His boots,
falls.
the way that his toes go up, he tends to
Yeah.
want to fall. Now they're
Yeah.
using the same boots.
As long as the body will balance better on them,
Yeah.
I live with that. You know what I mean? It's just there's something off about it. So hopefully the newer version's better. And I wouldn't normally upgrade any other figure that looks so fucking close to the original, but like a better underbuck, I'd do it. And I like the red paint on the arm and on the chest. Like
So
they really just subtly made it a little better. So
and this is what I have to say about that, where I don't buy figures for value,
oh
right?
fuck.
But I'm also not upset when I find out that I have a figure that's worth $100 that I paid $20 for, right?
Oh
It
no,
doesn't hurt my feelings.
not at
Well,
all.
knowing that everyone's able to get this Major Blood, but the fact that these are all numbered,
Mhm.
and it is on a different buck, it's not going to hurt the value as much as people think that it is.
I don't think it will at
Maybe
all.
initially, but eventually people are still going to want that.
Yeah, no.
Because-
People are going to want complete collections. They will always want complete collections. It's not like
Yeah.
people are going to be like, "Oh, I'm just going to buy the retro carded, Cobra Trooper because he's the easiest one to get." No, people are going to want the Cobra Island one because I still think that one's the best one because for the money, the loadout is fucking insane. So,
Yeah, and
they
then like,
came
you
with
have
the strongest loadout out of any of them. So.
because I'm reading this stuff in the GI Joe chats, and people are like, why is that Arctic Storm Shadow worth so much? And people are like, because there's not that many made.
None.
And you're never going to get it again. Like that
Yeah.
one's not coming back around because first off, it's not Arctic.
Mhm.
All right.
It's Ninja Force. Yeah.
And there's no Cobra symbols anywhere on it, even though they say that it's a Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's
they
true.
knew, like Lenny knew, like this is not a Cobra, but we need to have. And the fact that was the first Storm Shadow, and then you got the movie Storm Shadow.
Mm-hmm. They killed us with that shit, man. Killed us.
And we still never got what was supposed to be the original classified, which I still think we're gonna get.
I think down the
It was
road.
on the box.
Yeah, I think a lot of those designs we'll see, but I mean, Sci-Fi was on the fucking box and we never got them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there were a few of them.
But Storm Shadow was in the back of.
Yeah, it's the one with the crazy tattooed arm,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
But he's on the Desert Snake Eyes.
Oh, in the back.
He's in the back.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Haya did it too. And
That is true.
Haya is just using their stuff.
Yeah.
I
wish those were cheaper because I would buy.
I heard what you're saying about Bazooka. We've talked about it on my show. Like their face sculpts for the GI Joes are awful. Other than
I've seen a handful of them, so I can't really say. I've only seen their promo pictures. So
well, I mean, we're looking at them, and I mean, I've seen some in stores and stuff. Now, like Cobra Commander, I really think the Viper looks awesome. I think the Cobra Trooper looks awesome. Anyone that like they don't have to create a real face looks good, but Flint looks awful.
See, to me, if those things were like $15, that kind of shit wouldn't matter to me. Like I would
even
just
20.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. You know what I mean? But the fact that they cost as much as a classified figure, like I'll never collect them.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
You can find them.
I have seen people with Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes trying to get them like for 150 a piece at show.
Well, they shot up, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really wish I would have bought those when they first came out because they shot up tremendously in price.
Yeah, they're crazy. But see, I would have got them, I would have opened them, and then they would have been worth half of whatever a card is. So, you know, I'm just terrible with that. But I love retro cards too. So like all the Walmart ones that you were talking about, like all those are up on the wall, like in my bathroom. I love just old G.I. Joe card artwork. So I'm psyched for that.
Do you open everything? I mean,
I don't open the retros so much unless it's a complete, like 10 times better figure than the original release.
Okay.
I'll open it. But like I didn't open Stalker, I didn't open Rakondo, like certain ones, or I'll buy a double because I like the cards so much. So, you know, like more I like them for the card artwork, or I did until this next wave that's coming.
Why? Is there something wrong with it?
What did they do, man? They were doing so good. I would take the original, like flimsy, fucking shitty ass card plastic to have better looking card artwork. Like
I think most people would agree with that.
They dropped the ball horribly. And not only that, they own all the original old artwork. Just put it on the fucking card.
That's what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's truly what I don't understand. That they own the
That's all bought.
And I know people say
in
like
an archive, like
people talk about the royal, like, well, they'd have to pay. No, you commission them to do that for you.
Yeah,
this is the reason why the WWF can constantly show Bret Hart videos and stuff because they own the rights.
And that's why they can do old comic book trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
They don't pay the original artist and comic or writer. They fucking signed a deal. This is paid for hire work. And that's what the G.I. Joe artist guys were. Once they did that artwork and took the paycheck, Hasbro owned that artwork. Like there wasn't a fair trade deal. It doesn't work like that.
So I do understand, like, if you wanted to change it to look a little bit more. Now I'm one of those people. Yeah, I'm one of those people that I'm gonna open it. So I really don't care. And I have the Flint. It was sent to me by somebody without the card, which is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care, but at the same time, I am smart enough to be like, why would you do that? It makes no sense because and when someone, it's even worse when someone puts the original Flint card art up to that and you're like, all right, that guy just looks like a ragged motherfucker. That looks like a guy that, like, if you showed up to take a girl out and he showed up and answered the door, whatever he tells you, you're gonna have her back by that time, right? And it's like, you did something, you made it look the same without looking the same. But if I'm gonna hang it out on the wall like you have it, I mean,
they're not going on the wall. Like, I'm done if they're gonna keep it up. So. I
mean, and this is what I said. At least the figure doesn't look like Falcon.
Yes,
I'd much rather have a good-looking Flint, which it is, but you already have a good-looking card art, like you already said. So why don't you just use it?
Yeah, because you can't use royalties as an excuse because that doesn't work like that, and especially in the 80s, it didn't work like that. Like hundreds and thousands of comic book writers and artists got fucked out of stuff like that. So if you don't think Hasbro did
dude, look at fucking Leave It to Beaver. Leave It to, like, all these fucking royal, like, how long did Leave It to Beaver play and they got nothing from it?
Well, it's like Watchmen with DC. If they take it out of print, Alan Moore can have it back, but because they never take it out of print, he can never have it back.
Ouch.
So, yes, like, if you don't think those companies don't play dirty to this day, then you're out of your mind.
So the collector says in most cases, it seems like the accessories loadout is different than the actual retro card art. So maybe they think matching the accessories is more important. Okay. Now they do. and that's been my gripe with the if you're gonna invest in retro, then you should have something that's close to the retro weapons.
Mhm.
And I understand that there's budgetary reasons. I do, but
Mhm.
you already have an MC or you already had an AK-47 that should have come with. You could have just given that to the Snow Serpent.
Yep.
So there's certain things because take the budget away from somewhere else because you're saying these are retro, then you should give us retro stuff. If you're gonna give me a retro Han Solo, don't give me some other blaster that's not his blaster.
Mhm.
You want to give it to. So I agree with that, but again, you have the card art. It's not that hard to change the gun a little bit.
Yeah, and they've done it in the past. I could swear, like Storm Shadow, it's the original artwork, but there's just a couple little here's and there's that they scrubbed into the artwork.
Yeah.
So they were doing it, but now they just went to like Uncanny Valley, like completely. Like I don't want any of those next to these. You
And
know,
the cra-
like
But then you have the craziest thing that the original classified, they were spending money on different artists to do it. And
yeah.
some of the art I thought was awful.
And
But
some of it was really good though.
it was
So
great.
yes, there were
But-
plenty of awful boxes.
You know,
so.
and I know people got mad with certain people saying, "Hey, Lenny has told us that this is not AI." Well, you can't get mad because Chris McLeod says, "Hey, this is what Lenny's telling me," and not listen to when Chris McLeod says, "But I'm looking at this and it sure looks like AI to me," right?
Yeah.
Like you can't people want to kill the messenger.
Yeah, but even if it is, they will never say it was because
Exactly.
that is just admitting failure, defeat, all those things that a company of that size will not do over a piece of artwork. So
And that's still one of those like who approved who in
Yes.
the end said
yes, the approval, whoever approved the Wild Bill card should not have a
Now
job
now
anymore.
that's Super 7. So you know
Yes,
what?
but I'm just saying, like, they happen to
There's a
all
lot of
be at
people
the
there that
same
shouldn't have a
time.
job.
Yeah, well, everybody there, but
I know people disagree with me on this. I still believe that there are not 6 fingers on Wild Bill. All right?
it just looks weird.
It does
It's
because
like, his hand looks like there's
well,
a curled, digit in
yeah,
there,
but if you look at the O-ring, that gun has a trigger guard. So
okay.
I think they were trying to imitate what the actual figure was going to look like, which
Mm,
looks stupid. All right. So please, I don't want to say it doesn't look stupid.
yeah.
So they had the trigger guard above it, and what looks like a finger, I think, is the explosion in the background. It looks bad, and if it may be 6 fingers, and again, either way, it looks bad no matter how you look at it. I agree, it looks bad.
It does.
I just yeah, when it comes to that Falcon or that Flint, you're just like,
Yeah.
how did this get approved?
Yeah, and even I don't even like the cover girl, how she's running at like a weird angle. Like it just doesn't it does not look like it fits in with the rest of it. And
No,
that's the biggest mistake because now you've just alienated 3 of your fucking brand new figures from people like me who don't want art that doesn't kind of match what you already gave them. That's like them changing the artwork on the fucking Spider-Man animated cards, which have remained the same for like 5 years now, at least. Like,
yeah,
I think that line was pre-pandemic. So yeah, we're at 6 years. They haven't changed these fucking cards. These guys can't even make it a year before they have to fucking tinker with stuff constantly. Like I don't even know why they keep fucking with the boxes too. Like
now see,
I
okay, so I like the boxes changing. Now I don't like the plain boxes now, and this is how I keep all my boxes.
Me too.
And
I'm a psycho. There's a room same size as
And
this filled with
Tony-
boxes. But anyway,
This guy right here is gonna go angry because he's like, just throw the boxes away. I'm like, I can't. So I created shelves. I did a whole video making shelves, just so I could put my boxes. This is what I like about the boxes being different. If you go to a bookstore or a library, they're all different. They're not all the
that's
same.
true. It's true. But
What I
when you
don't,
buy a series of books, though, they kind of look the same.
but but you're
But
gonna
I
have like
get it.
your Pentor. What I don't like is how boring the new boxes are
Yes, they are.
because
They're just
they
dollar
were,
store,
yeah,
dollar store boxes.
they were the one brand when they went to um the plastic free packaging that did it right. Like the artwork. So you could have kept the artwork by allowing us to see the figure. You
Mhm.
didn't have to get rid of the artwork. Yet they did.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going back to you were doing so good. Why did you decide not to?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a mess.
It is. But at least quality is getting better. So I'm not going to complain. So that's where I will leave it with G.I. Joes and quality. At least the figures aren't fucking falling apart in my hands. And
Yeah.
the actual like weapons are getting, stiffer, them being in the trays to cool down and not in little bags where they deform and do fucked up shit. Like,
But
so
but those when they came back, that mutton junkyard getting the fucking weapons in the hands out of that tray was
yeah.
the fucking worst, man.
I think the
remember.
head for the dog was like impossible to get
Dude,
out.
I remember. I'm like, you know what? Give me back that goddamn bag. All right, I just fucking let me rip that tissue paper open and just dump it out.
Oh, I had a whole like gimmick made for the non-boxless, like the whole like non see-through boxes. I had a whole gimmick, and then I had to fucking change it when they went back to being able to see the figures. I was like, God damn it! I was having so much fun with the bags and throwing shit everywhere, so I had to change it all back. It made me sad. So
I think they've gotten better with how everything is in the tray, but I
Yes.
know when they first came back out, they were awful. In that mutton junkyard, and I got 2 of them, so I went through it twice. I guess we'll remember when Law and Order comes out if I have to, because the worst thing is popping out a hand and it goes flying. And you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I still have 8 more hands to get out of this stupid thing.
Yes, I agree with that. When there's a deluxe set and they have like 1,000 hands, yes.
But yeah, it's just I like the plastic free. But again, if you weren't getting it right away, you were gambling.
Yeah.
You were gambling if you got it 2 weeks later, especially from Amazon.
I mean, Tim, during like my buddy Tim Disavowed, he would literally open the figures at the register after paying for them. He would call over a Target associate and be like, come here, because I've been nailed with swap outs like crazy. And he would do it every fucking time. He'd open figures right there in front of him. So
I told everyone, I go, just open it. And if you're going to buy it, open it in the aisle. And if anyone comes up to you, you say, I'm going to be buying this, but people are swapping the figures.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure this is the right figure. Or like you said, do it at the cash register.
Yeah.
Because again, when you're doing reviews, you want to be as early as possible. I will order from multiple places.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get burnt. So I had, God, I forget what figure it was. It was one of the Walmart exclusives. And Hasbro had shipped it, same with Walmart. So I took one back to Walmart and I hadn't opened it. And the lady there, she's like, is there anything wrong with it? I'm like, nope, I just have another one and I don't need this one. And she's like, well, I have to open it up. And I laughed and I go, oh man, collectors are going to be pissed. And she's like, what? I go, there's a lot of people doing figure swapping. And honestly, I'm glad you're doing this because then you know that it's there. But there's going to be a collector that's going to be pissed.
Oh, yeah. That'll just sit there forever when they see the broken tape. They'll just be like, yep, that's a swap out. No, thank you. So, yeah, that's the beauty. I'm glad everything went back in the window packages because they had to actually up the quality again because there was a dramatic dip in everything.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
because I collect, Marvel Legends, I collect Star Wars Black Series and G.I. Joe, and I noticed a complete fucking just quality in everything dropped during the, no window box period. And
Oh, when people were
once it
opening
went back, it was good. So
yeah, when people opened the Dungeons and Dragons and they were just like,
literally arms break right the fuck off, man. I would have bought them too because they're sitting at Ollie's now, but I won't buy them because I'm like, I'm gonna take it and it's gonna fucking
are they
break in my
still sitting
hand.
at, are they still sitting at
Oh,
Ollie's?
they are dying at Ollie's. Like they're gonna end up at like the super half off stores
I
next.
have
when
not been
Ollie's.
to Ollie's in a few months, and I know that they were still sitting there. I'm like,
Oh, they are, man. Like same thing with all the Landos.
the Fortnite
General-
stuff.
Yeah,
The damn Fortnite stuff is still just
Mhm. What happens when Ollie's can't even sell this shit? You know what I mean? So I'm still seeing Black Panther stuff, and I'm like, whoa.
I know that was their last time I was there.
Mhm.
There's still a lot of and this guy was hard to get. Clamp Champ.
Yep.
He's always, at least the last time I was at Ollie's.
Always
Clamp
there.
Champ, like
Yep. Yeah.
they had a bunch of. They had Battle Cats there too for quite some time.
Yes. Yes.
And I was like, you need to
mine
lower the
still
price.
has it. Yeah, we have them in the store, and I can't even sell them at discount. Like they just will not sell, man. There's something like about that Battle Cat. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. They do still have some Eternals last.
oh,
time I
I've
was
seen
there.
Ganesh or whatever his name is, like everywhere.
Like poor Eternals. Like you feel bad. You're like, imagine being one of those actors and you walk
Oh,
in and you're like, God damn it! Will someone just buy it?
Yeah, it's got to be just awful, man. Like the whole thing, like everything wrong. Like
So, did you ever watch Toy Anxiety?
it does sound really familiar. I'm trying to think.
They're on Tuesdays. I used to watch them all the time, and
Okay.
they had some pretty funny segments. Well, they started doing their awards for every year, and they do Peg Warmer of the Year. So one year they do Peg Warmer. I think this was like a year or two ago, and the one guy goes, I know, because people were like, they're like, Lando Calrissian isn't in here. And they're like, okay, here's the thing. We were going to put Lando in there. But when we looked at it, we realized it's from last year.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fit for this year. It has been there for 2 years. And they will not discount Lando Calrissian, Moff Gideon, or Apollo Creed. And I know it's the 3 black characters. I don't know why Star Wars, and it doesn't matter what Lando it is.
Yep, he's a peg warmer,
He just
unfortunately.
automatically goes there. He should just have a little blanket when he gets there or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I do have. I was finally at
Yes.
Ross. We finally got one, and I'm like, this was one of my favorite characters. This is one of my favorite Star Wars figures.
Mm-hmm.
I love Skiffguard Lando. And I was like, you know what? When if he goes down, I'll buy him. But even when he was $10 and you kept seeing 1,000 of them, but finally when I saw him for $5, I'm like, you know what? I'll buy him for $5. I'm doing my part to get Lando off the bags.
That's what I do. I honestly, I've been doing this long enough where I can look at a wave and be like, I'm pretty sure if I'm just patient, I will find it at Ollie's, depending on who it is. And, like it's been working lately. It's been working.
And I always say to people, and again, our job is not to make sure the line continues. But if you want something, don't play clearance chicken with it.
Yeah, no, you'll
I
lose
want all the G.I. Joe
90% of the time. Yeah. Oh God.
But yeah, if you're not a G.I. Joe collector and you're like, I don't like G.I. Joe, but I think that Crimson Guard is pretty cool, and if I see it on sale, I'm gonna pick it up. Okay, well that makes total sense. That's how I feel about a lot of like Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That looks really good. I don't really collect a lot of them unless I love the character, but if I see that on sale, but I
Yep.
don't see any GI Joe and be like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for Target
No,
to
I don't
mark
do
that
that.
down.
Yeah, I don't do that. Not on my main line collecting, but like Star Wars isn't something I'm a casual collector for
Yep,
Star
so am
Wars.
I.
So for me, it's like if I see a fun figure at Ollie's for $5, $10 that I don't own, then yeah, it'll end up in the collection. But
And the
like,
problem with the Black Series is they're just smaller than everything else, so
yes,
you can't
they
even
are.
fudge them into the line.
Yeah, they have to be together in their own shelves. They don't mix with anything other than the Indiana Jones line because they're the same shitty engineering.
Yeah, I leave him to guard my portal potty. So I have
That's
a 3D. My buddy lent me. He dropped off a 3D printed portal potty. And he's
nice.
like, I thought this might be cool for like your like in the back of your videos. And I had so many people ask me. And then I don't know, maybe a year ago, Greg was like, I'm not getting that portal potty back, am I? I'm like, nope.
That's great. I love all that shit. I love little.
I'm like, and I'm like,
style.
you're not getting the portal potty. Like that's been in too many videos. I've done too many pictures with it. And people still ask about it. Where'd you get the portal potty? I'm like, my buddy, go to I think Thingiverse has it and you can print it up.
Nice. Yeah, my buddy Duarte does little like
Yes.
mailboxes. And dude,
Yeah.
I love this stupid little thing. It's in all my videos. It's always in the background. I love it. I
That
love
type of stuff is all
literally, yeah.
it gives depth. And again, I'm not a great photographer. I always say anytime I get a good picture, it's all because of the iPhone. I just happen to pose it in the right spot and I hit it right. I don't understand lighting. And again, Matthew is a photographer. He tries to help me out, and Ed is, and Toy Optics. Like all these guys are great photographers. But it is one of those things like you just learn as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I did. It's like toy photography is a lot different than like lighting a real room. So, like there's,
I would imagine.
yeah, you just, you use the same basic principle on a miniature scale and then it all works. So, I even to this day, I am always fiddling with my lighting. Like it's never just turn it on and it's there, like I'm always obsessing and playing and hinting. So you're better off just not knowing. Like sometimes ignorance is bliss. Like if I wasn't so stupid with it, maybe I would get more reviews done. It's just I get obsessive once I start tinkering, and then tinkering becomes more tinkering, and then it became what it is. So, sometimes it's nice. A little, most of the time, less is more. So,
I say that about so much. When I was like trying to learn and like take pictures, like I'd spend all this time like posing like 5 figures, and I wanted them all in it. And then you start looking at people that do really good photography, and you're like, dude, sometimes they don't even get half the figure in
yeah,
because but then you notice, then they'll take a whole picture to show what they, and I'm like, that makes total sense. But it's hard because when you spend this much time posing stuff, and then you put like boxes around it, and then you don't even use the box. You're like, I spent all this time. I want everything. All right. I get the stupid toe articulation where I wanted it, but now I'm not going to use it.
Yeah. For me, I just ended up I don't know. I use movie framing for photography, and that usually just works for me. So like I just think of it as one snippet of a frame from a movie, and that's usually how I think about it. And also like I sweat my thumbnail more than anything else I do because it is the gateway to your video. Like if you can't get them with the thumbnail, it's like, oh, that's
Yes.
it is.
No.
It's I've been told like the philosophy I use is it is the gateway to the soul of your video.
Okay.
So that's how I look at it.
So this was something, and Mr. Beast was talking about this. I'm sure you know who Mr. Beast is.
Oh yeah.
So I agree. Like you need a thumbnail to catch. And I actually changed when I used to, because I always, I do like a 10-second open, but I always change it every time. And I used to have my logo, and then the first picture of which is my thumbnail normally, and then a second picture of the figure. And what they were saying was because now when you scroll over, it automatically starts playing. A lot of times people don't see it. They don't see the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So I changed my first picture to be the thumbnail that tells what it is. Now it has my logo on it, like in the corner where most people will notice, but maybe you won't. My thing was, well, there's people that don't like me. So if they see my logo and they know it's my video, they're not going to watch it right away. So if my logo is big, but maybe once I catch them. So I started doing it. So if you highlight over it, the thumbnail is the first picture that you're actually going to see on that video, hoping that it catches your. But I'm with you. I am with you with the thumbnail.
Yeah.
This is okay. I talk to Bobby B all the time. I'd say I'm pretty good friends with Bobby B, but he became my nemesis. That my son named him my nemesis because I'd sit there and I'm like, okay, we're both dropping videos about the same time. Normally his did much better than mine. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, I'm like, wow, how is it blowing up the way that it is? And I'm not talking about like in a bad way, but it's like, what is he doing? Is he hitting?
Yeah, what am I not doing?
He doesn't do fucking thumbnails. That's the craziest thing. I'm like, I even said to him, I'm like, you don't even do fucking thumbnails. And he's like, I know, so he picks like the picture that just shows the figures. I'm like, it doesn't say like, beachhead, like retro, like
nothing. It's just a photo of the figure. I know.
I'm like, it doesn't like. That's the anomaly of like when I said like people won't like your channel won't grow if all you do is lives. Some people it will, but for the most part,
even if it does, it's slow. I will tell you, it's slow.
Bobby B is the anomaly where it's like I'm not doing thumbnails. I'm not going to show my face. I'm just going to have this deep voice. I thought he was like. I even told him, I'm like, I thought you were like a 65-year-old veteran that smoked like 4 packs of cigarettes. Come to find out, you're this jacked, fucking 30-year-old that just has this deep voice.
So funny. That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, I just, I noticed him and you when I was doing the shit because you'd be putting the videos out at the same time, and I was just like, well, that's neat. At least we're all doing something different, So
that's, and that's another one of the advices that I give to people. I go, don't copy anyone. I go, take aspects of, like, if you like stuff that I do, take aspects. But if you copy my content, especially at the time where, again, I'm self-aware. If I was like, oh, I didn't realize that people know who I am, I'm lying to you. But if you're copying my content exactly, and I listen to Mr. Beast talk about it, and he goes, there's a guy that copies my content word for word.
Yeah.
And he said, take aspects, but don't copy what someone else does. Especially someone that's popular, because people are going to see it. There was a guy, I don't even know who he is. I came across his video and I sent it to my moderator, Matthew. And I said, who the fuck is this? And he goes, dude, that's Dan Larson. I go, now it wasn't Dan Larson, but this guy, he talked like Dan. He sat in a chair like Dan. He did content. I'm like, dude.
He did everything. Yeah.
I'm like, you're not even trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. Like, you got to be an individual personality for it to work to begin with. And you can't be a weak personality or it just won't work either. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain, like, criteria of stuff you got to hit before, like, you can get people in. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be comfortable with yourself. Things have to roll a certain way, and you have to have that original thing that is you. You know what I mean? Because I tell people this: yes, when you get shit early, people will come out of the woodwork, but when you don't, they're there for you, not for the toy. They're there to hear what you have to say about the toy. Like, they come to you because they like what you have to say about the toy. So that has always been my thing. And that's why I always just do what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I will just review whatever's in my heart at the time that's got my juices flowing, because that's the authentic way of me doing it. Otherwise, like, it's just a slog. It's not fun for me, and it won't be fun for you in the end.
Yeah, and
So,
and what you just said, like being first or very early is great, and I would be lying to you if I said, "Hey, it doesn't help."
it
No, no,
totally
it helps the
helps.
numbers.
Yeah, it
But
helps.
if people find you and they will listen to you do anything, we may have told Travis Moody this 1,000 fucking times. Hey, dude, just do your reviews. If they're fucking late, they're fucking late. If people like you, like, and here it is. Tell
Yeah.
Moody that jerk. Um, it's like, dude, like, people come to you for your personality,
Yeah.
or people avoid you. They don't even
Yes.
like people. There are people that don't like me that I'm sure have seen that I am still the only person that has that retro flint, and they're probably like, I'm not watching that guy because I think he's an asshole, and I don't, and that's fine. Like, right?
I was super happy that you got it. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
So was I, because when someone you've never met just messages you and says, I love your stuff, I just want to send this to you so you can have it first. You're
Yeah,
like,
fucking dope,
yeah.
man. You can't beat that. So
And then he showed me something else that he had, and I was like, I want that one too.
yeah. Why don't you just send that over?
I can send it back when I'm done. He actually has the green shirt.
Oh wow.
He showed it to me at the
Wow.
same time, and he's like,
That's
"Yeah, I had to buy this too. Don't tell anyone." Now, obviously, we've already seen the green shirts are out there.
Mhm.
But a lot of people were like, because some people were like, "Oh, you're a little coy about how you got it." I was like, "I'm not going to tell you who sent it to me, but I'm going to tell you I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out to me and they wanted to send it to me." And I
Mhm.
was like, and he's like, no joke. And he like showed it on a piece of paper, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not gonna say no. I'm like, thank you very much.
Yeah. Fuck
And
yeah.
I said, do you want me to say who you are? He's like, I'd rather you not. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And you know this, as you grow, people reach out to you.
Oh
They
man,
like to send you stuff.
I get the weirdest shit. I get the weirdest shit, brother. Too weird.
Do you know who Coco Smooth is?
I do not.
Okay. Real good guy. He's doing a lot of 3D printed stuff.
Okay.
And I've had him on the show, and nice guy. And he was talking, and he was talking about like some 3D boxes or something that he bought, and he's like, yeah, just hit up so and so. He goes, I don't know how much they're gonna charge you, because he doesn't charge me the same. And I said to him, I go, don't ever mention anything about how much things cost, because it's no one's business. Because what happens is someone that reaches out is gonna go, well, you didn't charge him that. Well, you know why you didn't charge him that much? Because he did a video that got 4,000 views, and now people are asking to buy that stuff. That helped that guy out.
Yeah.
That's why some of us will get stuff at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it comes to smaller companies, I don't get shit.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying shit. I mean, fucking Savage Crucible sent me shit for free. So
They're never sending me anything.
That, you know what? Just see them at a show. They're really nice guys, actually. I mean, I didn't even know them at all.
Oh, you don't know the story. You don't know the story.
No, I probably don't.
When I saw him at Joe Fest,
Mm-hmm.
I asked him about the replacement ankles.
Uh-huh.
And he said, he asked he asked how I got it. I said, through the Kickstarter. And he goes, and I go, well, you're just gonna be sending them out? And he goes, yeah, we're just gonna be sending them out to everyone except for YouTubers that throw the figures. And I go, I didn't throw it. I go, I tossed it. He goes, no, that was a throw. I go, no.
Oh, Jesus.
And so, funny thing, we all watched the video later on, like Tony and I, like that night at Joe Fest. I'm like, what is that? We all agreed it was I tossed it onto it, but it made a lot of noise. I didn't throw it. What I threw later on in life was that Falcon that I got, the Marvel Legends Falcon.
Oh.
So the next day, I did a walkthrough at Joe Fest, and it's on the video. I see the guy again. I go, hey, no hard feelings. I go, I was mad or whatever. I go, but we all watched it. We agreed that it was, we agreed it was a toss, not a throw, but we're all good, right? And then I'm walking down, like showing all the Savage Crucible stuff, and there's a guy trying to pose it, and on camera the thing fucking falls over, and I'm like, you can't even make this shit up.
No, that's
But no, he knew who I was.
yeah.
He
They know. They
remembered.
they watch YouTube, man, because
Oh yeah,
I didn't know them at all, and when I went to their booth, like they went ape shit, like for me. I don't even know why, because I didn't review the figure they gave me. I straight told them to their face. I said, I love the human stuff. I said I didn't review it because I don't like lizards. I'm not an anthropomorphic like collector. Like I don't give a shit about lizard people. So Gaines was standing right next to me when I said it. I was like, I think you do make great shit. It's just,
their stuff looks wonderful.
just lizards aren't my thing. I said, once your humans come out, send them my way. I'll fucking be happy to do a review, but I don't fucking review lizard people because you sent me one for free. It's just not into it, so.
Well, like I said, I don't believe he's going to be sending me anything for free.
Well, I didn't review the first one they sent me, and they didn't send me a second one when they sent Gaines one. So.
They sent it was weird because they sent Bobby B one, and I'm like, Bobby, he doesn't even do anything like that.
They just sent them to anybody because they sent it to me, and I like. When have you ever seen me do something that wasn't like a human? You know what I mean? Like I don't do cat people. I don't do turtles. I don't do shit like that. Like so. I just think they got a list of people and they just sent them out originally. So who the fuck knows? So
I tell you what, it's been over 3 hours.
Yes, we did do the 3.
I told like the conversation just starts going and like
that's why I told you don't worry about it. You know, if it went long, it went long. It's fine. We had a good conversation.
I did a recording with Lenny. G.I. Joe designer, and it had to be recorded. And he's like, we can do about an hour. Okay. We talked for an hour before. We did a 2.5 hour video, and then we talked for an hour and a half later after we were done.
Damn.
And he was like, wow, that went by really fast. And I was like, as they've gotten longer and longer, and I'll usually get the message. People are like, man, that just went by so quick. I'm like, because I'm not grilling you with questions, which is just trying to have a conversation. So,
but definitely.
Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you if they don't know, which would be shocking.
Well, you can find me in the link below.
Yes.
And Monday and Tuesday, I do a live show with a bunch of other people called the Mega Powers. Toy podcast. You can catch us at 8:00. Both shows run at 8:00, and I usually turn out one review a week that comes out on Saturday. So you can always just check me out there.
And they only go till 9. They go 8 to 9. It's really weird. At 9,
that's it.
Cut off.
Done.
Dead cut off.
Done.
No, check them out. Honestly, a lot of fun. It's just a lot of banter. And you can tell that people actually like each other. Yeah.
Well, I
love shows where you can tell, like, dude, these people fucking don't like each other.
Yes, I've seen plenty of those. And honestly, I don't want to be a part of anything like that. You know what I mean?
People, they don't like each other and they're boring. They're not even like.
Oh, that's the worst. When they don't like each other and they're boring, forget it. I'm just like, I'm out, man. Like, my time is fucking precious. You better be saying something.
Yeah.
Keep me around.
You guys have a blast. You guys are always laughing. And that's what makes you guys. I love the fact that you have that little recording for when you hit 200.
Oh yeah. Well, it's appreciation just for people coming out. You know what I mean? And I just try to make everything a good time. Like my thing is to make you escape everything and just enjoy yourself for a couple minutes without having to think about all your bullshit. So that's my thing. I just want to take you out of your shit for a couple minutes and have a good time. So,
And yeah, I think you guys do a great job.
Thank
I've
you.
never watched past 9 o'clock, but you're not watching when I start my show either. So
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to just unwind, eat food, and then I jump in and say hello. So.
no, and again, I appreciate everything you guys do, and you guys have a blast. And I appreciate you jumping on here and giving me 3 hours and 15 minutes, even though
Anytime.
I'm not going to go to bed till 2 o'clock anymore anyway. So I might just stay up all fucking night tonight.
Oh my God. Well,
So I'm going to get out of here. Everyone, you know where to find me. You know where to find Jerk. The same days, like just, I guess, be there at 8 o'clock and then come on over when they're done.
And leave at 9 because I'm done at 9. Leave.
You'll know it'll just be that dead cut for no reason. Like, why'd they just stop in mid sentence?
Over.
You just wait till they make me a moderator and I just end the stream. Like, we got this new moderator. It's odd. It just ends at 9 now.
The stream just keeps turning off.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on.
And we will see you guys all soon. Take care.